1, Indianapolis on a Thursday morning. It's 9 o'clock.
This is a Fox News alert. A great day in the Middle East. I'm Dave Anthony. That's what President Trump posted on Truth Social the morning after Israel and Hamas agreed to the Gaza ceasefire plan that he brokered.
In a phone call earlier this morning, Prime Minister Netanyahu thanked President Trump for his global leadership efforts to make this all possible.
That's Netanyahu spokesperson Shosh Bedrosian. The president says that all of the 48 hostages Hamas still has will be out probably Monday. That's being cheered across Israel.
Gail Dickman's cousin was killed in captivity, but he's joyful that others will return home safe.
20 of them are going to come back alive. And this is such a happy moment for us, the families of the hostages.
In Gaza, also huge relief that their own 2-year nightmare could soon be coming to an end.
That's Fox's Jonathan Savage. In about an hour, Israeli leaders are expected to sign off on the first phase of this plan.
There will be a ceasefire in place in Gaza, and then the IDF, Israeli Defense Forces, will withdraw to the first of 2 lines inside of Gaza. After that, the hostages, 48 of them expected to be released.
Though for 28 families, they'll be getting remains of hostages killed either in the Hamas terror attack 2 years ago or in captivity. Some Trump supporters want the president to get the Nobel Peace Prize. It'll be awarded tomorrow. This morning, the Nobel Prize for Literature went to an author from Hungary. Some of his books have been turned into movies in this country. Jonathan Rinderknecht is due in court this morning in Orlando for what he's accused of doing in Los Angeles in January. Arrested in Florida Tuesday, he's charged with setting a fire that ultimately sparked the Palisades wildfire that left 12 people dead and thousands of homes burned. U.S. Attorney Bill Saley tells Fox,
"We've eliminated every other cause of the fire. It was not fireworks. It was not lightning. It was no other cause other than an open flame, likely a lighter."
There's also a hearing today in federal court in Illinois as Democrats challenge President Trump deploying National Guard troops to the Chicago area. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
They found peace of mind in a wooded area. Clear radar, cool morning, 45 degrees in downtown Indianapolis, going up to 66 today. I'm Ryan Hedrick, and here's what's trending at 9:02. A missing Hoosier woman has been found alive.
The police captain who we've been working with for the last week has been spectacular, Captain Nally, and, he just said, "Kenny, I've got her. We're getting her out of the woods, and I'll call you as soon as I can talk to you."
That is Kenny Bowen, Brittany Gard's brother-in-law, sharing his relief on behalf of the family while speaking in front of a hospital in Danville last night with Fox Nation. With more on this story, here's WIBC's news director, John Herrick.
Brittany Gard went missing Tuesday, September 30th. Relatives of hers feared the worst, but the Putnam County Sheriff's Office said Wednesday night that she was found alive in a wooded area 2.5 miles from her home. They also said she was being cleared by medical staff and no additional details would be released at this time. A fire was reported at her home, and the police have deemed that suspicious. John Herrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Returning to Indianapolis is what Vice President J.D. Vance will do tomorrow. The main topic discussed when Vance touches down will be redistricting, as he wants Indiana to redistrict its entire congressional map in the middle of a decade to ensure a Republican majority in the House. Rape is one of the charges a boy in Johnson County is facing this morning.
The woman was bringing groceries into her home, and that's when Arion Smith grabbed her and covered her mouth. The victim tried to stall Smith by convincing him to pray with her. Johnson County prosecutor Lance Hamner says after the prayer, Smith grabbed her by the throat and strangled her.
He is right now being held at the Juvenile Detention Center. We filed a motion for the court to transfer him to the Johnson County Jail.
You might be wondering if Smith has a mugshot, but that's not available at this point.
Until he is processed through the adult jail.
Jake McDaniel, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
And Halloween is creeping up, and Indy's iconic Irvington Halloween Festival is back for its 79th year. It's been a local favorite since the 1940s. In October, turns Irvington into full-on Halloween town. Ghost tours are already rolling in, but the big events start next Saturday. And with traffic, here's Matt Bear.
Yeah, we're on northbound 65 south side. Stop and go traffic after Keystone Avenue into the south split. That's a 5-minute delay. North side eastbound 465 slow from Michigan Road over to Meridian. Traffic sponsored by Rapid Radios. Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies with nationwide LTE coverage. For a limited time, get 60% off and free UPS shipping at rapidradios.com. Use code RADIO for an extra 5% off. I'm Matt Bear with traffic on the 5s. Follow us at WIBC Traffic.
Hi, this is Denny Smith, and it's time to get ready for spooky season by getting rid of all that spooky dirt, grime, and mess. Halloween brings out the best in people, but it also brings out some pretty scary crud from all the foot traffic. So how about calling in the cleaning pros at Zero Res? This October, they've got an unbelievable deal. 3 rooms, 0 resified, starting at just $129, plus 15% off dryer vent and air duct cleaning. And speaking of air ducts and dryer vents, did you know October has Fire Prevention Week? The U.S. Fire Administration reports thousands of home fires start in clogged dryer vents every year. Let's not let spooky turn into smoky, folks. Whether it's carpets, tile, vents, or ducts, Zero Res makes it easy. No soap, no harsh chemicals, just clean that stays clean, thanks to their amazing ZR water. Now mention WIBC, get your 3 rooms cleaned starting at just $129 and take 15% off your vent cleaning while you're at it. Call 317-388-5141. Schedule online at ZeroResIndy.com. That's ZeroResIndy.com.
This hour powered by Price Point Comfort Heating and Cooling, your independent American Standard Air dealer.
Now your forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
Sunny skies and nice temperatures this afternoon, close to normal for this time of year. Today's high 67. Clear, quiet, chilly, maybe some patchy areas of frost overnight, a low down to 40. I'm Wish TV Storm Tracking meteorologist Marcus Bailey, 93 WIBC.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
Casey?
What, Rob?
I think we figured out why the governor is so bad at his job.
Oh, why's that?
He has no idea what's going on.
He did seem a little uninformed a few times, didn't he?
Okay, so Mike Braun, the governor, went on with Hammer and Nigel yesterday.
Yeah.
And look, those guys are phenomenal, and I always watch other people do our job, the same job we do, and it's fascinating to me how other people do it because they can get to so much in such a short amount of time.
Yeah, it was rapid fire.
So they had the governor on yesterday, and they're asking him about a variety of topics, but there was no question they gave him that you'd be like, wow, that really involved me having to dig deep into my brain to figure out. There was no obscure topic. It was all very mainstream, highly publicized stuff. And not once, but twice yesterday, he told them he had no idea that thing was going on or that thing was taking place.
Yeah, they did cover a lot of topics. They asked him about deleting that tweet. They asked him about the National Guard, if they would be coming to Indianapolis, the IEDC audit, J.D. Vance coming to Indy, redistricting, a jobs update, and also data centers. So they covered a lot of topics in a short amount of time.
But none of it was stuff that, like, just basic stuff as the governor, the leader of the state, you shouldn't have been, I say the word, you start talking, right? There's no, boy, I'm really going to have to look at that. You're looking to your assistants for information. And so several hours before he goes on Hammer and Nigel, it had begun to leak out that J.D. Vance, the vice president, was coming to the state of Indiana. Nikki Kelly was the first person that I saw tweeted it. And she had said, I'm getting it from multiple sources inside the State House. So common sense would tell you if the vice president of the same party as the governor is coming to your state, and it's redistricting, right? They're not hiding what it is, and Braun has been an advocate for this, that the very first phone call, or amongst the first or second phone calls, would be to the governor's people saying, hey, we're coming. This is why we're coming. We need you to help us with A, B, and C. And if it had reached a point where hours beforehand the media was tweeting about it.
Yeah, you and I were talking about it.
How could the governor not know that's right? That's how much leeway he had. So that was 4:15. He was on Hammer and Nigel. We were talking about it at like 10 o'clock.
I think 10:30 is around the time.
So that's what, 6 hours, 6 just hours of lead time. And he gets asked by Hammer and Nigel about J.D. Vance coming to the state of Indiana, and he says this.
Is there a deadline that you're waiting for? Is there a cutoff date?
We would have to do this in November, either early or late, so we still got time. And the case is still being made. And like I said, I think the last time we talked about it, it's moving in that direction.
One of your
I did
roles...
not know JD was coming in. I just knew that they were reaching out. So when he's coming in here in the next day or so?
That's vice president to you, Governor. That's the vice president.
Well, when we see one another,
I know. I'm kidding, of course.
He's asking. He's coming in a day or so. When's he coming? What's going on?
Let me
ask you, radio host. You have more information than I do. Guy who's running the state.
He's the governor of the state. He has all of these people around him. He knows he's going to do an interview on the number one program, listener-wise, in the entire state. I mean, you look at Hammer and Nigel's numbers, and I think I can safely say that in terms of daily, the amount of people who listen to their program, it is the number one rated, most listened to radio program in the state. You go on there every month. I think they give them, a big heads up. And well, heck, Hammer was on with us.
We talked to him. Yeah, I asked him, what are you guys going to talk about?
And this guy just goes, what?
JD's coming?
That's just unbelievable. Oh, but it gets worse because look, if you're team Republican all the time, no matter what, they're never to blame for anything, blah, blah, blah. Well, okay, I guess he had 6 hours.
Okay. He was in meetings. He was busy, whatever excuse you want to come up with.
Yeah.
Sure.
But then they ask him about another massive issue, except this has been out there for at least a week now. That and we covered at length on our program several days ago. Jacob Stewart from the Indy Star came in and was talking about it. That BlackRock is attempting to buy or is about to buy a big stake in AES, the utility, which services many, many people here in central Indiana, city of Indianapolis. And they're asking him because the state of Indiana had kicked BlackRock out of the pension program because of their concerns about BlackRock. And obviously rate hikes are front and center. The governor has made this priority 1A or 1B, or, he's talking about it all, claiming he's so concerned about rate hikes. And now obviously the conclusion would be BlackRock exists to make money. If they buy a utility, they're not just going to do it out of the goodness of their heart. And they ask him about this high profile story about BlackRock buying into AES. And he says this.
There's been some chatter that BlackRock trying to buy AES. Now, there's been a lot of issues with AES here in Indiana. There's been some talk about how BlackRock is not welcomed in Indiana. Have you heard any of this? Have there been any discussions? Is this just rumor?
I'm going to have to come in here more often to learn the latest. I had not heard that.
Sir, Mr. Governor, you have claimed that utility rates are now essentially your top priority. You've appointed this new consumer advocate. You've got these interviews that are about to go on for people for the IURC, the Indiana Utility Regulatory Commission, which will set utility rates. AES is a major provider in the capital city. This has been a very high-profile story, and you have no idea this is going on. Not, hey, I'm still looking into it. There are pros and cons. I've got my people working on it. We're going to see none of that. Just what?
So, newsflash, BlackRock is reportedly offering AES $38 billion to buy it. Also, newsflash, the Vice President of the United States is scheduled to come to Indianapolis tomorrow for redistricting push.
So now we have to, because these guys were all in when Joe Biden had no idea what was going on. It was Sleepy Joe Biden. Thus, going forward, he will be dubbed Sleepy Mike Braun, because I don't know if he's napping like all day, every day. You can't even say afternoon, because the BlackRock AES story.
It's been out for a few days now.
And if you're governor, not only does he not know, he's admitting. Like most of these politicians, they'll wing it, right? Well, I feel like an idiot here, so I'll just pull something out of my backside and hope they don't ask any follow-up questions. He couldn't even do that. And these are major issues. So you think on something like property taxes, you think he was weighing into the minutia? You think he was learning what was going on? No wonder he couldn't articulate effectively why we needed it or what his plan was or why it was going to be viable. If he's admitting on major issues, including the vice president coming to his home state and a major utility in the capital city about to be bought up by an organization that your pension group kicked
doesn't
out.
want a part of.
Yeah, you don't know that either. Everybody needs to just get under a desk and duck and cover. We need to redo the nuclear bomb drills of the 1960s because we are so screwed, Casey. We are so toast.
Well, you know what? It's not even just J.D. Vance that's coming. The White House Deputy Chief of Staff is coming. The RNC Chief of Staff is also coming. Correct me if I'm wrong. That's the party of the governor, correct?
Okay, so let's take a break. and look, great job. Hammer and Nigel always do an excellent job. We are in no way saying they did nothing wrong. This is all on the governor. He knew, or his people knew, what he was going to get asked about. And if that is true, that the governor maybe now people got mad at me for calling him, talking about his lack of memory. But either one of two things has happened here. Either his memory is so porous that he doesn't remember being told about it, or his staff is so inept that they are not telling him about these major issues. And if that is the case, then every single person around him should be fired. Josh Kelly should be fired. Griffin, all these people, out of here. That is unbelievable. If they allowed the governor to go on the #1 rated radio show in the entire state, knowing what he was going to be asked, and no one informed him that the vice president was coming and that AES is about to be bought up by BlackRock. That is inexcusable. Every person around him should be fired, but they're the Republicans, so absolutely nothing will happen.
No, they'll get promoted.
Let's talk about the vice president coming when we come back, shall we?
It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel.
America has a new favorite beer. It's Mick Ultra. If you remember, Modelo was the #1 beer in America. They're blaming Trump. The Trump administration's immigration policies have affected its sales.
Come on.
At least Cracker Barrel came out and said, hey, we screwed up. We're going to go back to the way things were. Bud Light never did.
Hammer and Nigel, weekdays 3 till 7 on 93 WIBC and WIBC.com.
You probably have a dream retirement in mind, but do you know how to get there? The difference between dreaming and living your ideal retirement comes down to having the right plan. And that's where Howard Bailey Financial can help. At Howard Bailey Financial, we've created a free retirement toolkit to help you bridge the gap between where you are now and where you want to be. Text DREAM to 888-262-1104 to download your free retirement toolkit that includes a retirement checklist, Social Security decisions guide, estate planning guide, and more. We want your dream retirement to be your reality. And it starts by texting DREAM to 888-262-1104. Let us help you take the next step toward the retirement of your dreams. Howard Bailey Securities, LLC is an independent financial services firm and uses a variety of different investment strategies. Please see disclosures at howardbailey.com.
At Puccini's, we think less screen time and more quality mealtime is the better way. Eat, talk, and dine with less blue light glaring or talking heads blaring while enjoying great food at a reasonable price is the Puccini's way. Dine in for hot, delicious food prepared fresh and to your liking. If you need anything, we're right there so you'll leave full and happy. We have delivery options and carryout, but let's start dining in together again the way we all used to enjoy so much.
Puccini's Pizza, Pasta, Puccini's.
At Duke Energy, we're making Indiana's energy grid stronger and more resilient, ready for storms and growing energy demands. We're adding more power to the Indiana grid. We're using new innovations and smart technology to restore outages faster. And we're doing it all in cost-efficient ways to keep bills as low as possible while we serve you with reliable energy. Duke Energy, building a smarter energy future. Paid for by Duke Energy shareholders.
At Community Health Network MD Anderson Cancer Center,
you'll talk with an oncologist within 48 hours of your diagnosis, so you won't have to wait to start finding answers.
They got me in pretty quickly to meet my team. They gave me the plan and what they knew and what they wanted to do. I was really impressed with the care team and the approach they took.
Learn more about Community MD Anderson at ecommunity.com/cancer.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Severe from Vicks.
Sinex Severe Nasal Spray.
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Severe instantly relieves nasal congestion and works 6 times faster than nasal decongestant tablets. The 12 hours of relief allow you to get back to the moments that matter without congestion.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it! Try Sinex Severe from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
David was in big trouble with the IRS.
At first, I didn't owe that much, but after this year, it was out of control.
Then David called Get a Tax Lawyer.
Right away, they were like, oh yeah, looks like you're qualified to save.
Get a Tax Lawyer went to work.
Should have called way sooner.
Get a Tax Lawyer has helped thousands like David fight the IRS and get a fresh start.
Call 800-745-3070. That's 800-745-3070.
At Advent, we help sleep apnea sufferers avoid the CPAP machine by getting your nose and throat working with our unique Advent approach that you won't find elsewhere.
At Price Point Comfort, we promise you'll never be sold something you don't need. Call us at 317-455-1124 or see us at PricePointComfort.com.
Price Point Comfort is your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air dealer.
I did not know JD was coming in. I just knew that they were reaching out.
I was watching that interview yesterday on my couch at home, and I about fell off the couch when he said that. And then I thought, well, maybe he's trying to be funny and sarcastic, and because he has the personality of dried paint, it just didn't come off right. But then when he did the thing with BlackRock and AES, it's like there's no way he did it twice.
Right. He really didn't know that J.D. Vance was coming.
That was the governor yesterday, Mike Braun, on Hammer and Nigel, despite having 6 hours, the public having known for at least 6 hours, claiming he had no idea the vice president of the United States is coming to the state of Indiana on Friday to meet with state House Republicans over redistricting, of which the governor would have to call a special session for and thus likely know the whip count.
Right.
And claiming that, and by the way, Vance just served in the Senate with Braun up through last year. Somebody sent us an email, and that's a great point. Those guys communicated all the time in the Senate, and we're led to believe there's no path of communication to the governor, which comes to I can't imagine he would lie. What's the win on lying about that? Which means maybe his memory is so shot he doesn't remember that being told.
I was trying to figure out why he wouldn't know, and I thought, is it a security thing? No, because everybody knows he's coming. So, as you pointed out, it's not like they're saying, well, they're going to be in room 303. No, they're not giving you details. They're just saying, yeah, he's coming. If we know, how does the governor not know?
And so only one of I can't imagine he's lying about that. Like I just can't. There's no win for. I mean, he lies all the time, but he being Braun. But there's no win for him to lie. So I'm going to take him at his word, which means one of two things: either his memory is so bad that he doesn't remember being told very important information. I mean, look, the media needs to be all over this at this point. That either the governor's memory is so bad that he doesn't remember being told pertinent information, which is a huge deal, because what else is he not remembering? Or two, his staff is so inept that the vice president is coming to his home state to meet on an issue that Braun claims is very important to him, and they're not telling him. Also, Braun clearly has no ability to follow any sort of social media whatsoever or listen to any sort of public radio airwaves or read the paper of the news radio station of record was talking about it at length all day.
Right.
And he doesn't know.
Right.
That's a massive story. And then he followed it up with one of his signature issues, him being totally clueless about that too.
So it does make you wonder, that clap back to Ryan Mears about the Sanchez issue. Like, he didn't write that.
Of course not.
Somebody else did.
He's clearly not. We now know, because we had joked about this at length, like, as the governor, if you handed him a cellular telephone, could he operate Twitter? And the answer now is clearly no, because he's obviously at no point scrolling through any sort of social media, because it was absolutely everywhere.
It was out there.
So we now know Mike Braun cannot operate Twitter in any shape, form, or fashion. Okay, so let's talk about the thing, though. We were aware of it. We've still got all of our faculties about us, and that is that the vice president is coming. And now, according to, so Adam Wren has done, you remember Adam Wren? Friend of our program in Portenville.
And didn't he say something about you?
He once said I'm the most powerful radio broadcaster in the entire state.
Correct, that's it.
But he's very good at what he does. He gets a lot of scoops. He writes for Politico, but he covers a lot of Indiana politics. He lives here in central Indiana. And according to him, Vance is coming because the Trump White House is basically turning into the Sopranos crime family. They're basically sending Paulie Walnuts out because they're sick of Rod Bray and Todd Houston, the Speaker of the House and the Pro Tem of the Senate, not being able to whip the votes. And so now they basically decided, say it to my face, brah. They're going to walk in there essentially with the political equivalent of baseball bats going, hey, the rent's due. Tell me you're not paying.
Right. He's coming to whip votes. So the quote is, I think the White House is going to take stock of the votes. One of the Republicans told Politico, Adam Wren, writing for Politico. And if people are going to say we're not going to help Republicans, then I think the White House is going to make them tell them that to their face.
What is this? What are we doing here? They've already said it to your face. You met with them at the White House. They clearly, there is no appetite for this. And this is I mean, instead of doing self-reflection of saying, why is there no appetite for this? The reason there's no appetite for this is the American public, in this case, the public of the state of Indiana specifically, is looking at the job performance that you, the Republicans, are performing in Washington. And they're saying, we like the way our elections are here. We like the fair, quote unquote, fair representation. Look, it's already tilted towards the Republicans. And you haven't given us reason one to want to further rig or alter, or whatever word you want to use, our elections to help you guys, because you don't deserve it. You haven't earned it.
So Governor Mike Braun warned the White House last week that the redistricting lacks effort. So Vance allegedly offered to travel to Indiana again to be briefed about it. And the House Speaker, he's reportedly open to it, but worried that the Senate support is not there because they're worried about the political optics of it. They're worried about the optics of a political event.
Yeah, but think about this. J.D. Vance is not coming here to help you with your property taxes. He's not coming here to help you with your utility rates. He's not coming here to help you with the gas taxes that are out of control. He's not coming here to do anything to help you. J.D. Vance is coming here to help the Republican Party, to help his boss, Donald Trump. And there are a lot of people that are mad at me about this. And this is why, this is the best example that I can come up with of why I am so against this. And I was thinking about this as I was driving. I dropped my daughter off at daycare today, and I was thinking about this as I was doing that. When my kid misbehaves, she gets punished. She gets put in timeout. She doesn't get rewarded or given something for bad behavior, because then you're telling her the behavior is okay. The behavior is acceptable. No matter what you do, you will still get something. She has to learn, even at 2 years old, that doing certain things are not okay and they will not be tolerated in our house. If you give no reasonable person right now thinks, hey, the Republicans are doing a hell of a job, either in Washington or in the state of Indiana. Nobody looks at this. You can say all day you want they're better than the Democrats, and if that's our very low standard, then okay. But no person in terms of actual job performance says, hell of a job out there, boys. And if you just hand them 1 or 2 more congressional seats, if you just give it to them without making them earn it by better governance in which the people say, hey, I want to vote for you because you're doing a good job, then they will just keep misbehaving in Washington, D.C. because they know anytime they behave badly or don't govern effectively, we can just rig the maps.
Nothing will happen. Yeah.
This is what this is about. This is why I'm so against this. Because if you don't stop it, they will just keep spending money, printing money, growing government, because anytime they want, they know it can just come and go, hey, just tilt that district a little bit in our favor.
Well, according to the governor, Mike Braun, a special session could happen early or late November. Not the middle, though.
And it is... His next thing is going to be, I said I would call a special session. That's news to me.
Did I say that?
Hey, John Herrick's next with the news.
It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Listen up, football fans. You won't want to miss this.
Right now, new Bet365 customers bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. So you could turn that $200 into something bigger when you bet on money line, spread, totals, player props.
$200 in bonus bets when new customers bet $5. I know where I'm going to bet from now on. Download the app today and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Indiana. T&Cs apply. In-app only.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
They're standing firm on their demands. A mostly sunny sky, 44 degrees in the Circle City. I'm John Herrick. Here's what's trending at 9:30. Lawmakers tried and failed again to pass a bill that would restore funding and end the government shutdown. California Democrat Congressman Ro Khanna spoke to Fox Business's Mornings with Maria today about what they want.
Now, if they want Democratic votes, they need to extend the Affordable Care Tax Credit so people's premiums don't double.
Now, President Trump says he's open to negotiations on a health care deal, but only if the government reopens first. This is the 9th day of the shutdown. Former Illinois Congressman Jesse Jackson Jr. wants his old job back. He announced his campaign kickoff Wednesday for the Illinois 2nd Congressional District seat that is being vacated by incumbent Robin Kelly, who's running for Senate. Jackson resigned from Congress in 2012 when he had health problems. He then later pleaded guilty to campaign finance fraud in 2013 and went to prison for 18 months. In his first document that he released today, Pope Leo XIV urged the faithful to turn care for the poor into action, build bridges instead of walls, and challenge inequality and exploitative economic systems. He highlighted the struggles of migrants, women, and those living in extreme poverty. He also praised Catholic charities and grassroots movements for their work. And your opening bell report on 93 WIBC, brought to you by Absolute Wealth Management, LLC. The Dow is down 1 point so far to 46,866. The S&P is up 3 points at 6804. The NASDAQ down slightly at 4 points to 25,326. I'm John Herrick, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
What if you had the smartest Wi-Fi? If you did, it'd be Xfinity, of course, and it'd come with their best state-of-the-art equipment. It would boost speeds to the devices that needed them most, prioritizing your most important connections, whether you were streaming, gaming, or gaming while pretending to work. And it would let you stream 4. That's right, 4 games on one screen. It would even power your mobile connection so you could bring faster, secure Wi-Fi speeds with you where you use it most. It would be proactive and fix problems before you knew you had them. Impressive, right? And it would have security features that protect you from threats at home and online. Kinda like a force field for your life. If you had the smartest Wi-Fi, well, everything would work together seamlessly to keep you connected, no matter what. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply.
20 ribeyes for $35. That's 20 ribeyes for $35 at 2 locations in Indianapolis going on now. 20 ribeyes for only $35 in the Hardee's parking lot near Walmart at West 86th Street and Michigan Road. Just look for the big truck. Also in the Hardee's lot at the corner of Franklin Road and Pendleton Pike. Also on the big truck is cases of T-bones, fillets, New York strips, burgers, and a whole lot more. Big truck sale. Marinated chicken breasts too. Don't wait. Big steak sale at 2 different locations. In the Hardee's parking lot near Walmart at West 86th Street and Michigan Road. Also in the Hardee's lot at the corner of Franklin Road and Pendleton Pike. 20 ribeyes for just $35. Don't wait. Everything must go. Last chance this week. Big truck sale. That's 20 ribeyes for $35. West 86th Street and Michigan Road, and the second location in the Hardee's parking lot at the corner of Franklin Road and Pendleton Pike. Get there before the truck is gone.
Our electric bills have increased as much as $50 each month. Governor Mike Braun is driving bills even higher. Instead of helping families, Governor Braun is doubling down on costly coal, gas, and nuclear. That means more pricey power plants that Hoosiers like us have to pay for. Utilities get richer, we pay more. Something has to give. Go to StopMikesHikes.com today to send Governor Braun a message. Hoosiers need affordable energy, not a blank check for greedy utilities. Paid for by Citizens Action Coalition.
Welcome to Tire Discounters. Oh, hiya, Phantom.
Mike, I think I saw a fox on my way in.
Oh, that was the Carfax Carfox. He was congratulating us on our Carfax Top Rated Service Center Award.
I have always rated Tire Discounters at the very top.
Oh, thanks. So does Carfax. And not just for tires, but for all our services, too.
Alignment, brakes, shocks, and struts, and more.
Yes, sir.
But, Mike, do you think people believe Carfax over me?
Well, you are the Phantom tire buyer.
Exactly.
I woke up this morning with the sun down, shining in.
Okay, a little bit more from that interview the governor did yesterday with Hammer and Nigel. I mean, we got to get past the just...
the fact that he didn't know J.D. Vance, the vice president, was coming to Indianapolis, or that AES was being purchased by BlackRock.
Yeah, I mean, those, and we'll touch on that a little bit later throughout the course of the day, but they asked him about a variety of things.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things they asked him about was this audit that he commissioned, spent $800,000 of public money on to audit the IEDC.
Mm-hmm.
And do we have, we'll just play a couple of the clips of this?
Yeah.
All right.
Here's what he had to say.
So it was clear that from everything I heard as I was campaigning that we had to take a look at it. A forensic audit is an expensive one and a thorough one. And you've seen all the details. Nothing criminal, even though I think the Inspector General will take a look at it.
Some conflicts of interest.
Oh, definitely. And you're probably going to maybe see legislators in their oversight committees take a look at it. But all the information is there, and we are turning the page completely to full transparency. None of that insider dealing. If you got to file an ethics report, you're doing it. So this all happened prior to my getting here, and I promised I'd do a full audit, and we'll have full transparency going forward. Plus, we're taking an approach on economic development that's not going to let it be an insider group.
Bull. Okay. Well, Mr. Braun, I just had an encounter with your IEDC because he's been governor since January, right?
Mm-hmm.
So anything the IEDC is doing now would be under his watch, right? So I just had an encounter in my little town Warehouseburg over there on the west side with your full transparency of your new and improved IEDC, in which your IEDC gave who knows how much. When I say your IEDC, I mean we as taxpayers gave money taken from us and then given to the IEDC under your watch. Let me make sure I get the phraseology. We didn't give it willingly. It was taken from us. They're called taxes. And was then given, money was given to a massive warehouse, which is being placed in my hometown of Brownsburg. And when I got asked during the public hearing, during the public comments on this event, I said, I'd like to know how much of our money was spent to put this monstrosity, this lifeless, bland, dystopian monstrosity, which will fit with all the other lifeless, bland, dystopian monstrosities in my town. I'd like to know how much the IEDC gave. And you know what I got told by the local economic development person?
What?
No.
No, you're not allowed to have that information.
So much for the new, and I mean, that's my personal interaction with the IEDC from my hometown and a project in my hometown. Well, maybe that's just a super outlier. But, Bull, what does that mean? Full transparency. What does that mean? What does that mean we're turning the page? How can you declare no criminal charges if you're saying, well, maybe the Inspector General will look at it?
Right, they're going to turn it over to the Inspector General.
What if they determine something criminal has happened? How could all of this go on and then we just go, well, we're moving on?
Right.
Oh, well, sure, they got hundreds of millions of dollars, but no crying over spilled milk over here. And Nikki Kelly's going to be with us next hour. We'll ask her about this, and I have a feeling that she's going to say the obvious, which is they're not going to do anything about it because a lot of these people are Republican mega donors.
So you've got Representative Ed Delaney, who called for legislative hearings and said the audit was only a first step. You also have Senator Fatty Cadora. He said that it's infested culture of conflicts, and he called for the Attorney General, Todd Rokita, to investigate.
Yeah, but they're not going to do a thing about any of this because just like with Diego Morales, the Secretary of State, the reason nobody will touch him is because when you look at his campaign finance reports, a lot of money that goes to him is going to these other high-profile and some of them downstream Republican politicians. They're not going to deal with whether it's the IEDC or Diego Morales because, one, they don't want the money to get cut off, and two, they're worried that if these people get entangled in some legal crisis, that it could come back looking bad on them because all this money that's been given to them.
So the Senate Majority Leader, Rod Bray, he said the legislature would review the report closely, and then he emphasized the importance of transparency and public trust. But here's the question that you have to ask. Had that money been invested elsewhere, would the ROI, the return on investment, be higher? And would you know what the return is?
Well, I think that's what should enrage people is there's no visible benefit because everybody looks around and says, I'm paying more taxes than ever before. If all of this economic development was supposed to spur, this great tax base that is going to sustain us as a society going forward, well, then why am I repeatedly asked to pay more? So we can cross that off. And so if it hasn't paid off in the sense of that, then how is that paid off for me as a lifelong Hoosier? Mm-hmm. I would have much rather have that, well, over time, several $1 billion that has been pumped into the IEDC. Keep in mind, this audit is just about a 3-year window. I would have much rather that money gone to something that I can see a tangible benefit for, like roads or bridges or sidewalks, or heaven forbid, we just not take it from people to begin with and let them keep more of their own money. No, what Braun is saying, and what he's saying yesterday is, well, he clearly doesn't. He doesn't even know the vice president's coming.
Right.
He doesn't even know BlackRock is about to buy up a major utility here in central Indiana. So what people are telling Braun to say is that we're going to do the bare minimum. We'll put out something that'll look decent in a press release, and then it's going to be largely business as usual at the IEDC. And this is just a little blip in the radar, and our glorified legalized money laundering operation will continue largely intact.
They keep talking about we'll have transparency going forward after this 800,127-page audit. Even in the audit, it's talking about anonymous donors. Even in the audit, they're not being completely transparent.
Well, and what they're going to say with that is that they're getting rid of the IEDF, that foundation. Mm-hmm. So many of our longtime listeners will be aware of this, but this is so complex, and they did this deliberately. So there was this foundation that was connected, a nonprofit foundation that was connected to the IEDC, in which people would give money to that foundation, and then that foundation would pay for a lot of this, like, international travel. Well, what was revealed, what came out of the foundation is that it was these utilities that were many of the mega donors to the foundation, because the utilities then were supplying the power to all of these economic development deals. Well, the economic development deals were largely done with taxpayer money. So your taxpayer money was given away to these mega developments, mega corporations, whatever. The politicians had these trips funded by this foundation. The foundation was funded by oftentimes these utilities who were making huge money off of supplying power to these developments, which was raising power rates for everybody else.
$86,000 for international race tickets and events, $70,000 for VIP airport services. You've got $700,000 in hotel stays, including some high-end brands, $167,000 for travel expenses for family members. So donations versus contracts. Of the 107 entities that donated $6 million to the IEDF, the foundation, 46 later received $238 million in state payments or tax credits.
That's a heck of an investment plan, isn't it, Case?
Well, they set it up to be a slush fund. They set it up so they know how to wiggle around the rules.
Well, and that's why it should enrage everybody when Braun goes on Hammer and Nigel and goes, oh, well, okay, some people behave badly. That was before my time. We've learned some lessons. Full transparency. What does that mean, full transparency? We can trust you as far as we can throw you. See the guy fight at the property tax rally. So I don't trust a damn word you have to say. What does that mean? Who's going to put the teeth into this? And why are these people who did this stuff, 30 conflicts of interest, not being punished? Why are they not being punished?
You're listening to Kendall and Casey. It is 93 WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel show back at it this afternoon. Rob Kendall will join us. He's going to rip off his shirt, put on war paint, and completely go off the rails. 93 WIBC.
Well, the Fed just sounded the alarm. The stock market is dangerously overvalued. And if your retirement savings are tied up in the market, this could be the smart time to protect and grow your savings outside of Wall Street. Hey, one option gives you a 20% upfront bonus. It's got a competitive return that's averaged 10% annually for the last 10 years.
So here's the simple math. If you invest $200,000, you get an upfront $40,000 bonus. That's $240,000. That $240,000 could earn 10% or $24,000 in the first 12 months. So in the first year, that original $200,000 could grow to $264,000. Get all the information from Bill Demery, your retirement guy. Call 317-648-5120. That's 317-648-5120. 648-5120. Bill Demery, your retirement guy.
Transform your home with Galaxy Concrete Coatings. You can say goodbye to cracked, stained, and dirty old floors and hello to durable, stunning surfaces that last. Their cutting-edge technology ensures a beautiful finish every time, and you get to pick out the color. Upgrade your home today by calling Galaxy Concrete Coatings. They're for garage floors, driveways, pool decks, and patios. And they come with a lifetime warranty and one-day professional installation. The phone number, 877-417-0635. You can find them online, too. GalaxyConcreteCoatings.com.
Comcast Business can help turn your small business into a connected, secure, modern business. It's how retailers become constantly connecting must-visit shops. How restaurants become reliably up and running neighborhood favorites. How healthcare offices become the data-protecting caregivers that we all depend on. And how wealth management firms become cyber-securing guardians of your information. With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, and Wi-Fi backup, your business can stay connected and get threat-ready with Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Get started with our reliable business internet. Plus, stay connected when you add Wi-Fi backup for just $35 a month. And ask about a $400 prepaid card on a qualifying gig bundle. Call today. Restrictions apply. Wireless Connect requires business internet for additional monthly charge. Taxes and other fees extra. Prepaid card offer ends 11/16/25.
Stuck in a job that just isn't getting it done? Maybe it's time to go for IT. Whether you're just starting out, switching careers, or a military veteran ready for change, My Computer Career can help you launch a rewarding career in IT in months. No prior experience needed. Why spend years getting a traditional degree when your future in IT can start right now? Take the free career evaluation at mycomputercareer.edu today. Your most powerful upgrade? Your career. Go for it. Go for IT. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
Let's go! You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Severe from Vicks.
Sinex Severe nasal spray.
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Severe instantly relieves nasal congestion and works 6 times faster than nasal decongestant tablets. The 12 hours of relief allow you to get back to the moments that matter without congestion.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Try Sinex Severe from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
Snap it. send it. Hear it. Your photos, your video, your voice on WIBC. Join the text club by texting WIBC to 317-239-9393.
To everything, turn. There is
So it turned out climate change didn't cause the fire in California.
Yeah, no, it was a 29-year-old who fled to Florida who did it.
Now, this is a
Allegedly.
common occurrence in California where there are various wildfires. This was a massive one, I believe. Was it January or February of this year?
It was January 1st.
Okay, yeah, thank you. It was first of the year, huge devastation. And, of course, the idiot governor out there, Gavin Newsom, comes out and tries to claim that it is caused by climate change and the science deniers, and this is on you, and look at the human. Of course, Gavin Newsom and his administration did a horrible job of dealing with said fires, and that was as we have seen numerous times, and it was a massive story. And now it has come out that that's not true at all, that it was allegedly an arson job, and they got the guy who allegedly did it.
Yeah, he was arrested and charged with maliciously starting the Palisades fire, one of the most destructive fires in LA history. He's charged with destruction of property by means of fire. It's a federal offense, and if he is convicted, he faces a mandatory minimum sentence of 5 years with a maximum of 20 years in prison. So as you mentioned, the fires started shortly after midnight on January 1st of this year, and the area is still not back together. It's months later, 10 months later. And he was reportedly working as an Uber driver that night. And he allegedly started the fire. And then he called 911 a few times, but he was out of range. Somebody else had ended up calling 911, and he fled to Florida.
And this puts on full display how crazy the left is and how their whole existence centers around trying to politicize everything or do all that they can for political gain at every opportunity, in which there was clearly no proof that this was caused by climate change. Now appears totally incorrect. And the governor of the state, instead of getting all the facts, instead of getting all the information, instead of spending his time focusing on deploying the proper people and resources to get the thing under control, he sprints out and as fast as he can starts indicting anybody who questions climate change and tries to pin this on them and use that for some sort of political points, when the reality of it ends up being, according to the authorities, it was some person who hopefully will be severely punished for their actions, and it had nothing to do with climate change whatsoever.
Yeah, they have surveillance video, cell phone data, and also witnesses. Plus, they use fire pattern analysis to support the claim that he started it. Now, keep in mind that this fire burned thousands of homes, killed 12 people, spread to 100 miles per hour, and it also involved destruction of federal property a week after it began. So some legal proceedings are going to be happening. He has been detained without bail.
All right.
Now the governor is changing his mind, by the way. He called the arrest an important step towards accountability.
Did he say, I'm sorry for indicting a bunch of people that had nothing to do with this whatsoever?
No.
Did those words come out of his mouth?
That he did not say. No. So let's look at Indianapolis.
What a scumbag.
Condé Nast came out with their list.
Who?
And Condé Nast.
Who's that?
It's a travel company.
Oh, I thought it was a rapper.
And they rank things around the world based on
It sounds
travel.
like a rapper, doesn't it? Like,
It
have
does,
you
kind
picked
of.
out the new Condé Nast album?
They've ranked hotels this time, and 4 Indiana hotels ranked among the top 15 hotels in the Midwest.
Oh.
Now, they excluded Chicago in this list.
Why?
But I don't know.
That's a pretty big part of the Midwest,
right?
isn't it?
Yeah, you'd think. But they have the JW Marriott at the top of the list, number 2, as one of the highest ranked hotels in the entire Midwest.
Now, the JW Marriott, of course, right here in Indianapolis, directly across the street from Victory Field. It's where I famously interviewed Donald Trump.
They also have the Ironworks Hotel noted for luxury and boutique-style charm.
Yep.
The Union Club Hotel at Purdue University, which is part of Marriott's autograph collection, and also the Intercontinental Indianapolis, recognized for upscale amenities and service.
What's the most you ever paid to stay in a hotel?
I stayed at a what's that really high-end hotel chain?
Do I look like somebody who's ever been to a high-end hotel
and
chain?
now I'm drawing a blank. Kevin, you know what I'm talking about.
Kevin, you know Casey's life. What high-end hotel did she stay at that one time?
The Hilton?
No,
it's your life, Casey. Why would Kevin know?
I have no idea.
Why? What? No. Let's just stop for a second. Explain to our audience, in your mind, why you thought Kevin.
Because he travels. Because, he travels all the
so
time.
So he just supposed to pull some random hotel chain out of his butt cheeks? Like, how would he know that?
Where was it?
Well, it was in Chicago, but they have locations all over the place.
Yeah, I'm drawing a blank.
Marriott?
It's not like, no, I can't believe I can't think
Red
of it.
Roof Inn?
No. I know Jim is listening right now.
Motel
yelling
6?
at the radio.
Did they leave the light on for you? Can you give us some clues? Did it have a free breakfast with it?
It did.
Yeah.
It did. It was really nice, too.
Was it the one where you make your own coffee?
Beautiful
The little juice
lobby.
dispenser?
It was a special occasion. I can't believe I'm drawing a blank on that.
Four Seasons?
Yes!
Was it?
Oh, was it really?
Wow, I just looked it up. I can't believe I found that.
Good job, Kevin. You know Casey's life better than she does. Congratulations.
That's what it was. So yeah, that was a pricey endeavor.
Yeah, well, lucky you. How much? Like what? 300? 400?
Yeah.
Higher?
Yeah, it was around there.
What is the bed made of gold?
It was nice.
I hope so.
Yeah. By the way, Condé Nast Traveler, they also ranked the Indianapolis airport as number 4 best airport in the country. It is Kendall Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
Picture this. Your career ends, your paycheck stops. Suddenly you're conducting your retirement with no sheet music. Don't let that happen. I'm Jason Hutchins, and after years of guiding Hoosier families through retirement planning, I put together some of the most important lessons into one simple, easy-to-read book, Orchestrate Your Retirement, a guide to composing a financially tuned plan. Get a copy mailed to you at no cost. Call 317-660-0929. That's 317-660-0929. This book is packed with real-world stories and strategies on income, Social Security, taxes, and how to protect what you've worked so hard to build. Call Guardian Willis Financial at 317-660-0929. That's 660-0929 and ask for your copy. No pressure, no strings attached. Supplies are limited, so when they're gone, they're gone. Orchestrate your retirement. The rhythm of your future starts here.
Investment advisory services offered through Creative One Wealth LLC, a registered investment advisor. Guardian Wealth Financial is not affiliated with Creative One Wealth or with any government agency. Licensed insurance professionals.
Central Indiana knows tough, but your water shouldn't be. Indiana ranks among the hardest water in the country, and your home is paying the price. Connecticut's non-electric technology means no timer, settings, or headaches. Just water that works, even when the power doesn't. And the twin tank design means clean, soft water 24/7. Connecticut water softeners are the solution, made in the U.S. Visit ConnecticutIndy.com and mention Made in the U.S. for an additional $250 off your purchase of a softener. Connecticut, American-made, Midwest tough.
I'm Dwight Freeney, and my friend Eli is alive today thanks to someone who said yes to organ donation. When Eli was just 12 years old, he received a liver transplant that saved his life because someone just like you said yes to being an organ donor. His story and many others like his are why I have teamed up with Indiana Donor Network and Donate Life Indiana to help end the wait for life-saving organs. You can help. Say yes to being an organ donor next time you are at the BMV.
Pat Sullivan here with a weather update. It's October, and we still have no clue if your AC should be blasting or your furnace needs to start kicking. Better have both prepared with a $49 AC unit and furnace maintenance from Hope Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Is it sweater weather or tank top weather? Nobody knows. But we do know that you can ensure total comfort inside your home for only $49. Call my friends at Hope Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling today.
Let's go! You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine. and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Coming up in 2 minutes from the Technology Recycler Studios, what the weather in Indiana is going to look like in the coming days, what police know so far about a Putnam County woman who went missing and was found alive, plus the status of a bar in Indianapolis and what's happening with their liquor license. Those stories and more after Fox News on 93 WIBC. WIBC HD1 Indianapolis, and it's now 10 o'clock.
Israel's security cabinet is about to gather and implement a ceasefire for Gaza. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. It's the first phase in the plan that Israel and Hamas have agreed to, brokered by President Trump trying to end the 2-year war.
We hope that all the parts of the plan will be implemented.
That's Israel's Foreign Minister Gideon Saar, interviewed minutes ago by Fox's Jennifer Griffin.
If Hamas carries out its part of the agreement, is this the end of the war?
Well, it's the implementation of the first phase. We don't have any intention to renew the war, but parts of the commitment is, for example, the disarmament of Hamas, that they will lay down their arms.
Now, the agreement's been cheered in Gaza, where Palestinians were singing and dancing, hopeful about the end of the fighting, and in Israel, too.
Singing, dancing, fireworks in the street.
I want to thank President Trump for bringing this amazing victory.
Gail Dickman's cousin was killed in captivity, but he's joyful that others will return home safe.
Fox's Jonathan Savage. Part of the plan, Hamas would release all the remaining 48 hostages, 20 of them believed to be alive. We expect to hear from President Trump next hour at a cabinet meeting. He posted on Truth Social, it's a great day in the Middle East. And moments ago, Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu posted on X, give President Trump the Nobel Peace Prize. He deserves it. For a 9th day, the government is closed, with a standoff getting even more heated in Congress. Fox's Chad Perkin reports.
House Speaker Mike Johnson challenged Democratic Arizona Senators Mark Kelly and Ruben Gallego after they protested outside the Speaker's office.
I'm going to get back to work. These gentlemen had a publicity stunt here. You see the issue. They need to go and vote to reopen the government. Get your plain and simple. The House has done its work. And even if they do anything,
Democrats keep demanding that health care provisions be included in any funding bill. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
That's it with the rain for now. You've got a sunny sky, and it's 51 degrees in downtown Indy and 65 is your high today. I'm John Herrick. Here's what's trending at 10:02. Yes, it did rain earlier this week in Indiana, but you won't be seeing rain again anytime soon.
We're looking at more dry weather, a little bit different fluctuation in temperatures, but no strong chances of precipitation in the next 7 days.
Aaron Updike with the National Weather Service in Indianapolis says temperatures will go back up into the upper 70s and low 80s next week. Good chunk of the state is dealing with drought. Brittany Gard of Bainbridge went missing Tuesday, September 30th, and the Putnam County Sheriff's Office said Wednesday night that she was found alive in a wooded area 2.5 miles from her house. They also said she was being cleared by medical staff and no additional details would be released at this time. A downtown bar and restaurant in Indianapolis is not being allowed to have their liquor license renewed. The Alcoholic Beverage Board of Marion County voted 3-1 to deny that request from the Moon Bar and Grill. They said nuisance concerns from police was a factor in that decision. The bar's been open since July of 2023. A teenager accused of assaulting and strangling a woman in Johnson County this week. Jake McDaniel reports.
The woman was bringing groceries into her home, and that's when Arion Smith grabbed her and covered her mouth. The victim tried to stall Smith by convincing him to pray with her. Johnson County prosecutor Lance Hamner says after the prayer, Smith grabbed her by the throat and strangled her.
He is right now being held at the Juvenile Detention Center. We filed a motion for the court to transfer him to the Johnson County Jail.
You might be wondering if Smith has a mugshot, but that's not available at this point.
Until he is processed through the adult jail.
Jake McDaniel, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Oregon head football coach Dan Lanning saying this week that he knows the challenge his team will face when they go up against the Indiana Hoosiers on Saturday.
You watch these guys on tape. They do a lot of things well. I think the first thing that just stands out to you is when you look at special teams and how dominant they've been in special teams and blocking kicks, just what they do, and then how they play to their players' strengths.
Oregon's ranked 3rd. Indiana is 7th. They square off Saturday afternoon at 3:30 with pregame coverage starting at 2:30 on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. I'm John Herrick on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com. 10:04, Kendall and Casey coming back in 1 minute.
When people think sleep apnea, they think CPAP. Now at Advent, we do all we can to help sleep apnea sufferers avoid the CPAP machine. And most sleep apnea sufferers who come to Advent are going to be able to avoid a CPAP altogether. Our unique Advent approach using simple in-office solutions can get your nose working and throat open all under one roof. You see, the root of every snoring and obstructive sleep apnea problem lies within the throat, nose, or both. At Advent, we know when we get the nose and throat working properly, most snoring and sleep apnea problems will subside. And we have the most simple and convenient, ultra-effective in-office solutions that can do just that. And this is why people have traveled by planes, trains, and automobiles from corners of the world you would never think of to find the sleep apnea and snoring relief you won't find elsewhere.
Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better. Most insurance accepted.
This hour powered by Price Point Comfort Heating and Cooling, your independent American Standard Air dealer.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
All right, there is a ton of stuff going on with the President of the United States, so I guess we're going to do a little rapid fire here.
Yeah.
This segment. Casey, the floor is yours.
Lots of different Trump updates. First of all, let's start with this new poll, and this comes from Pew. And they say this is about Trump's use of power. And they say that 69% of Americans say President Trump is trying to exercise more power than previous presidents.
Well, that's sort of a reoccurring theme for every president, especially in a post 9/11 world. I think we saw a massive extension of presidential executive authority under George W. Bush, and the federal government, by this case the United States Congress, has done essentially nothing to rein that in. And whether it's, Trump with various activities under his presidency, or Biden trying to get people fired if you don't get an experimental vaccine, or I just think it's just and you're seeing it at local levels, right? Look no further than what took place here in the state of Indiana during COVID-19, and all the stuff the governor did without any pushback whatsoever from the General Assembly. And so I think you're just going to keep seeing each next president take this further and further until somebody steps in and does something about it.
Yeah, well, isn't that up to the Congress to be the checks and balance for that?
Well, they conveniently use that as a crutch when they want to. But I think deep down, a lot of these people, and you saw this here in Indiana during COVID, I think our General Assembly was very fine with what Eric Holcomb did, because they said, let him take the slings and arrows. He wants to put on his power pants, and then we can play victim and go, well, we'd love to help you out, but it's not at our purview.
So let's talk about public opinion on his governance. 39% say Trump has improved government operations. 59% say he has not improved how the government works. And 38% say Trump runs an open and transparent administration. 60% disagreed with that.
So what would Trump have done that would make people think government is better? Because you can doge whatever, but it didn't. First of all, it was too much for people to process. And Mitch Daniels kind of went through this with us several months ago when he was talking about how he had kind of reformed the government in the early days. And it's that incrementalist approach in which you got to know, one, how to get wins. You got to know how to prioritize wins, and you got to build off of wins. And with Trump and the Doge stuff, it was just too much too fast. They were doing too many things that people didn't understand. They weren't selling the things they were doing and how it was helping people. And then it kind of came out, well, it's not really saving anybody any money because that money's just reverted back to these agencies. It's not going to pay down the debt or something like that. It's just simply being reverted back to these agencies, and they'll spend it again on something else. And so I think people look at, here we are 9 months into his presidency, and people are going, well, what's different? How's the government running better? We're almost $38 trillion in debt. this bill you passed, which was your signature thing, continues to grow government, continues to grow the nation's debt. What are we getting that is any different? I don't think people see it.
Well, he did cut the federal workforce by 8.7%, not quite as much as what was promised, and he has now warned that no back pay will go to furloughed workers during the shutdown. So some concerns about abuse of power, according to this poll. 66% say Trump has used his office to punish his political opponents. And some notable targets include James Comey, who just pled not guilty to all of the charges.
Well, there's no doubt he's doing that, but there's also no doubt the guy before him did that.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's no doubt that the guy before Trump the first time did that. So, like, at this point, this is just what we are. I mean, we are drifting further and further towards what our founding fathers warned about and the sort of things that they were very specific about that will be the downfall of this country. And it is one of those things is the idea of too much consolidated power. And we have too much consolidated power in this country, both at a state, about a federal, a state, and a local level, in which select individuals can do too much, and the people who have the ability to do something about it aren't willing to fight back, and everybody just seems to kind of be, whistling past the graveyard.
61% believe Trump has used his office to benefit his family and friends. And again, the guy before him did the same thing, i.e. Hunter Biden.
Look, people are going to judge government. Most people are going to judge government. The overwhelming majority of people are going to judge government based on the status of their own life. How is my life doing? And then they will judge, rightly or wrongly, the role of government based on the status of their own condition. And for 5 years now, we have seen at super speed the middle class being pushed downward, the tippy-top people being elevated, the wealth divide in this country has never been greater, and the cost of living, the affordability of living, and the ability to take care of basic necessities is becoming more and more burdensome for regular people. Until that is solved, these poll numbers are not going to get any better for Trump or whoever is in office after Trump, because people are not seeing their own lives be bettered.
And speaking of the status of your own life, when it comes to the economy and approval ratings, nearly 75% of Americans rate the U.S. economy as poor.
What's the number?
Or fair, 75%.
Okay.
70% say the economy is on the wrong track. Now, Trump's approval rating, and this is according to Decision Desk headquarters, it's at 44%.
Which is right in the range, right? We've said it is probably not as low as those that have him in the 30s. It's definitely not as high as people have him in the upper 40s. It's probably, depending on the day and the event, he'll probably get a little kick out of this thing with Israel and Hamas until that blows up, which, by the way, how many times have we heard peace in our time, peace in the Middle East, and then a year later, they're back to fighting with each other.
A year later, sometimes days.
Well, that's my point, right? And I highly doubt that Hamas has just said in good faith, hey, let everybody go. We're done fighting, and let's turn this into a new Las Vegas. I don't know Hamas super well. I don't see that happening, and I don't see that holding. I hope it does. I think that'd be great for the world. But he'll get a little kick out of that, and then it'll disintegrate again, as it always does, and people will be back. I think it's all economy based for the most part. There are other issues that factor into it, but Trump is not doing what he promised to do in the campaign, which is to get the affordability of living under control. He has he hasn't. There has been a somewhat slowing of inflation, but now they're about to recook the economy, so that's going to blow up again in all likelihood. And if you can't afford to live the quality of life that you've previously lived, you're going to be pissed off at the person in power, whoever that is.
Okay, so some more things that are happening with Donald Trump besides what's going on with Israel. The Israeli cabinet, by the way, set to vote on the Gaza deal that would bring the ceasefire and also the release of the hostages within days, they're saying. Trump is going to visit Walter Reed Medical Center on Friday morning, and this visit includes a yearly checkup and a planned meeting and remarks with some troops. Now, keep in mind, he did just have a checkup back in April when the doctor said that he was in excellent health. but he's going again.
Remember then they killed him off for a while? They said his death was inevitable because he had bruising on his hands. Or
The chronic venous insufficiency.
Yeah, he appears to be just fine. As we told you, he was probably going to be just fine. That faded from memory pretty fast, didn't it?
He's also mentioned possible visits to Egypt this weekend, and the trip would focus on those efforts to finalize that peace agreement. Okay, so what else is going on with your president? Oh, that Nobel Peace Prize. Still wants that. The 2025 prize will be announced Friday, October 10th.
He is
and
really,
awarded December 10th in Oslo, Norway.
Trump is fascinating because he largely appears, and this is in many facets of Trump, it's very interesting. He largely appears in his mind, he gets stuck in like an 80s, 90s mindset on things where whatever it was at a certain moment in time, what it remains to him. Like we've laughed about this with the Sagamore the Wabash. Look, I'm never getting a Sagamore the Wabash. That's never going to happen. No governor is ever going to bestow anything upon me. But the reality of that award is it means a fraction of what it once did, because that award used to be a very prestigious award that went to the highest, best among our state. And towards the tail end of Pence's governorship, and certainly during Holcomb, they just started handing them out to donors and political people, and like it was like, these people aren't doing anything other than bettering you and their own existence. Why are they getting this award that used to go to people who served our state? But so the mindset on it has to change. The award, they've ruined it. They've diluted it by giving it to so many people who totally didn't deserve it. Same thing is true like the Nobel Prize. Like in his mind, it's still 1980 whatever, and this is some super prestigious award, and he so wants it.
Yeah, well,
he's vocal about it.
Yes, he calls himself the president of peace. He won't be in the running this time. No matter what happens with this Israel-Gaza deal, that's not something that will be considered for this round because nominations are submitted by January 31st. They had over 330 candidates this time, and the committee keeps the nominees confidential for 50 years. So if you want to consider what's going on in the Middle East today, that would be for next year's.
But what my question was why do you want this so bad? Look at some of the nutbags they've given this thing to, who have done the exact opposite of peace. Why do you want something so bad that means nothing anymore? Why is this the thing that you're so fixated on?
He said that the committee should give him the prize and that he's deserved it 4 or 5 times. And in September, he told CBS News, I don't seek attention.
No.
I just want to save lives.
I don't seek attention. That's like me saying I don't seek attention. Give me a break. That's all that guy does is seek attention.
Okay, now something that Donald Trump has been successful on for the 5th consecutive month, 0 migrants were released into the United States interior by Border Patrol.
Now, that doesn't mean no illegal immigrants have entered the country. Let's be clear about that, specific about that.
Well, they're calling it a major achievement because they're ending catch and release policy.
Right, and I'm not disputing that. It's much better than what we had before. The border is dramatically improved under Donald Trump. There's zero doubt about that. I think sometimes they want the public to think, though, that like there's no illegal immigration going on. That is factually incorrect. What they're saying is when we catch these people previously under Biden, they were just letting them go and saying, we'll see you in 2 years or whenever your court date is. And that is wonderful. They're not doing that anymore. That's a huge win for our country. I just want to point out there's still illegal immigration going on. It's not like they're saying there's 0 illegal immigration.
We still have a few more things regarding Donald Trump to get to, but up next, we're going to be joined by Nikki Kelly from the Indiana Capitol Chronicle. It is Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
Tony Katz.
There's a real truth here that is very uncomfortable for a lot of people. Gen Z is not hooking up, and you're missing out on experiences, you're missing out on connections. I don't know why it isn't important, but being afraid of the experience is a real problem for the soul. Well, how do you find people? How do you create? To quote Avenue Q, there is life outside your apartment.
Tony Katz, mornings 6 to 9 on 93 WIBC and WIBC.com.
Hi, this is Denny Smith, and it's time to get ready for spooky season by getting rid of all that spooky dirt, grime, and mess. Halloween brings out the best in people, but it also brings out some pretty scary crud from all the foot traffic. So how about calling in the cleaning pros at Zerorez? This October, they've got an unbelievable deal. 3 rooms, 0 resified, starting at just $129, plus 15% off dryer vent and air duct cleaning. And speaking of air ducts and dryer vents, did you know October has Fire Prevention Week? The U.S. Fire Administration reports thousands of home fires start in clogged dryer vents every year. Let's not let spooky turn into smoky, folks. Whether it's carpets, tile, vents, or ducts, Zero Res makes it easy. No soap, no harsh chemicals, just clean that stays clean, thanks to their amazing ZR water. Now mention WIBC, get your 3 rooms cleaned starting at just $129 and take 15% off your vent cleaning while you're at it. Call 317-388-5141. Schedule online at ZeroResIndy.com. That's ZeroResIndy.com.
Of all the times to buy new Lincoln, right now is the very best time at Tom Roush Lincoln. Get 0% APR for up to 48 months on 2025 Lincoln Corsair, Nautilus, or Aviator. Plus get a $1,000 Tom Roush Trade Assist bonus. So come get that new Lincoln from Tom Roush Lincoln, where our family's been serving yours for over 53 years.
Subject to credit approval. Not all buyers will qualify. See dealer for complete offer details. Offer ends 10/31/2025.
Hear that? That's Mike. He took ZQL Ultra, so now he's sleeping soundly on a Sunday night. ZQL Ultra helps Mike fall asleep fast, stay asleep longer, and get the deeply restorative sleep he needs, so he can wake up refreshed and ready to conquer Monday.
Let's do this Monday.
ZQL Ultra. Not for colds, just for sleep. Really great sleep. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Up to 50% off and 2.99% financing, plus receive an additional $550 off your project.
Because at B Windows,
we mean business. We mean business.
I work 5 days a week, loading crates down on the dock. I take my heart of mine.
Casey, so much going on with Indiana politics and government. Everything from the vice president coming to the city of Indianapolis, to big doings in the Indiana Secretary of State's race, a whole bunch more. Let's make some sense of as much as we can in the time allotted to us. We go to one of the best in the business. Nikki Kelly from the Indiana Capital Chronicle joins us now on the WIBC hotline. Okay, Nikki Kelly, you broke, well, I don't know if you technically broke, but I'm giving you credit for breaking the J.D. Vance coming to Indianapolis to, well, strong arm, such a strong word, with the Republicans. What's the latest on what you're hearing?
Yeah, we did break it, but so apparently it was supposed to be just Senate Republicans. Now some House Republicans are invited as well. It's interesting timing, to be sure, to send your vice president during a federal government shutdown to, address a political issue, in another state. But we'll see. The senators we talked to, at least one of them was interested to hear him again, had heard him at the White House in August. And so another one seemed a little less convinced about the necessity of drawing new maps. And that generally is what we've heard about the Senate Republican caucus, that they would rather just not do it. They don't have the numbers there yet. And so that's what J.D. Vance is coming to try to change.
Adam Wren of Politico in Portonville had reported that basically the White House has decided, we're fed up with Bray in Houston. We've given you guys enough time to pull this off. And it almost feels very Sopranos, like Paulie Walnuts is saying, go ahead and say it to my face. You want your legs broken type of thing. This seems very odd behavior.
Well, I mean, I think they're not going to let them just run out the clock without, which is essentially what they're trying to do. The Republicans here are trying to run out the clock and not get the face-to-face pressure from the Trump administration. And they've done a good job, right? We've been talking about this for going on 3 months now. Mm-hmm. But, I think the Trump world, looks at a state with super majorities, and we could get this thing through in, a couple days, and is frustrated with the lack of movement.
Does the visit from J.D. Vance mean anything? Will it move the needle?
Who knows? I mean, a few people were moved when they went to the White House and learned more. A few people have been moved along the way. I've been told they haven't taken a formal whip count. So I don't know exactly how far they are from having enough votes to make it happen. So, but I know that, there's certainly frustration on behalf of the Trump world and perhaps even in Governor Braun's camp. I think he's been trying to let lawmakers lead, but in the meantime, that makes him kind of looked like less of a leader himself, right? To wait to call this until he is given the go-ahead instead of acting like the chief executive of the state.
How big of a disaster would it be if he calls the special session and it fails?
Oh, terrible. Absolutely terrible. And I got to be honest, I don't believe they would allow that to happen. I do believe there are certainly Republicans in both the House and Senate who do not want the session and will argue against it behind closed doors. But if put on the spot, having to put their name up there with a red light, I don't think they could do it.
Nikki Kelly from the Indiana Capitol Chronicle joins us now. Is there new information? Have you gotten anything on what he's going to say? Because they already had their opportunity to do this.
No, I don't think so. Although, he thinks that there are over 100 Republicans and only a couple dozen went to the White House. So he can speak to a lot more here in Indiana who would travel a couple hours to Indianapolis who didn't go to the White House in August. So I think that's what they're hoping is to do that face to face.
Okay, so then the other side of this is, of course, clearly there's not a barrage of people wanting this or they would probably do it, but there's also the elections next year, the midterms, which this is all about for Congress, but then there's all these down ballot races, which includes things like the Secretary of State's race, which got a big jolt now. You and the Star were some of the first people to report on this at length, that Bo Bai is in the race. I'm excited about something that's interesting because so often these races, especially statewide, are fairly one-sided. I think Bo Bai makes it interesting. What say you?
Yeah, I think we were expecting it to happen, but having him formally throw his name in the hat has definitely kicked up the interest. He's already raising money, and of course, through his dad, he's got tons of connections to do that. And, you've seen the immediate criticisms or attacks on him about, is he really a Hoosier? Mm-hmm. And even I've seen some things about, his age, and yes, he's under 30. But so I think it's a fascinating maneuver. I do find it interesting. Diego was going to have at least two competitors in the convention, and still, as of this moment, does have two competitors in the convention. I actually think that Bo Bai's entrance into the race means that Diego will be more likely to get through the convention because Republicans are going to see a bigger name and someone who's going to be able to raise money easily and think, well, we need an incumbent in there, someone who's shown his ability to win statewide.
Okay, so that's interesting. We got into this at length yesterday. We talked about it on State House Happenings. Abdul and I have talked about it. Jim Merritt and I talked about it. What does that do to David Shelton, who, let's face it, he's probably the most likely to defeat Diego at convention? Do Republicans, as you said, say, well, we need this name and this money? Or do they say, hey, Diego's a dumpster, scandal-ridden, rotten individual. Maybe we got to get a little more serious about who we nominate. You think they'll go the opposite way, which is go with the name?
Yeah, I haven't heard any other big names willing to, challenge him in the convention. And to be honest, if anyone challenges him, if there's more than one person who challenges him, then it's Diego's to win. Once you split the votes of the opponents, it's just a math problem. And so they either have to clear the field with one strong Republican candidate against Diego, or I think he's getting through and it'll be a Bai Morales fall race.
I want to talk about the money because you had mentioned it, that Bo Bai is coming in with a little pocket change already. Do you recall ever a more expensive Secretary of Race happening? Because I believe this one's going to get up there.
Yeah, I'll be honest. There's not a whole lot of spending in Secretary of State's races in the past, so I'd have to look, pretty closely to see that. But it should definitely be up there, I imagine, with the Attorney General race easily. So, yeah, and I think this is Democrats' almost sort of last hurrah. The fact is if this young, energetic, political dynasty guy can't win in Indiana in a statewide, I think it will show a little bit of a existential crisis, so to speak.
Couple of minutes left with Nikki Kelly from the Capitol Chronicle. You guys, for years now, have covered the IEDC at length. This audit comes out, and it's very quiet from most of the elected officials. Have you guys been able to get any Republicans on the record like saying, hey, this is egregious, this is horrible, this is awful, we got to do something? It seems like nobody wants to say much of anything.
I mean, a lot of the names and people involved in the IEDC world and that audit are donors to various campaigns. And obviously these were things that happened under previous administration. So I think it's an easy out for them to say, well, we've got new people in charge and we're taking over and we're going to have more oversight and let's just turn the page kind of thing. And so I think that's what you're seeing. I mean, even if it wasn't your administration, Republicans are never going to want to draw attention to malfeasance or questionable ethics in their own party. So I'm not too surprised that the reaction has been muted.
Braun he said, well, if the legislature wants to do some sort of hearings on it, they're not going to do any hearings on this, are they?
No, I've never seen sort of independent hearings, a la Congress. That's just not something that's done. I mean, could there be a bill in the session with more oversight? Sure. But, I can't imagine seeing sort of an independent congressional overview kind of investigation.
Hey, real quick before we let you go, you guys have covered this execution that's going to take place tomorrow morning. This guy who is slated to be executed just kind of folded his appeals and said, okay, I give up, let's do this. Can you just very quickly go into some detail what that's about? That seems very odd for an inmate just to go, okay, I'm done.
Well, he could still try a last-minute appeal based on just the overall sentence, but he had been challenging the protocols with a lot of questions about the execution drug, and is it compounded, is it manufactured, which kind of impacts safety and viability. And after discovery, some of which was kept secret, some of which has been public, I think they realized they didn't have the information to challenge it anymore. I think some of what they were provided kind of muted their arguments. And so those issues at least have been put to the side. And yeah, it definitely looks like by tomorrow morning we will have performed our third execution in less than a calendar year.
She is one of the best in the business. Nikki Kelly from the Indiana Capitol Chronicle. She broke the J.D. Vance coming to Indianapolis story. Thank you.
You guys have a great day.
Yeah, you too. It's Kendall Casey on 93 WIBC.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Attempts to end the shutdown resume. Skies are sunny and it's 53 degrees in downtown Indy with highs today in the upper 60s. I'm John Herrick. Here's what's trending at 10:32. The Senate set to vote today on dueling measures aimed at ending the partial government shutdown. Both measures that they used fell short of the 60 votes needed Wednesday. It was the sixth time that both Republican and Democratic bills have been shot down. Jonathan Rendernecht is accused of starting the Palisades fire in California. His entries on ChatGPT helped investigators establish a case against him. Tech specialist Lisa Martin, though, says there are no laws defining how law enforcement can collect AI-related data as evidence.
So what's happening now in the case of the Palisades fire suspect is that investigators have to rely on existing rules, like the Fourth Amendment, that requires a warrant for searches.
She says investigators also rely on a 2018 Supreme Court ruling that said even data stored by third parties can be protected. Prosecutors say Rendernecht intentionally set the Lockman fire on January 1st. The ceasefire plan agreed to by Israel and Hamas is expected to be approved by the Israeli Security Cabinet today. The first phase of the U.S. brokered deal would include the release of all remaining hostages in Gaza. I'm John Herrick on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Fall is great in Indy, so don't ruin it by painting. Do what Mike did. He called Rhino Shield.
Our home is basically a contemporary, and we just started noticing that the paint was just fading and just looked like garbage. We had received a postcard from Rhino Shield, and we decided to take a look at it.
Rhino Shield's formulated for our specific climate here in Indiana.
The process with Rhino Shield and their crew, they were just very conscientious. We had problems in the past with painters. They leave debris and everything. Well, we didn't have that with Rhino Shield.
Way better than paint, backed by a 25-year warranty. Right now, get the guaranteed protection of Rhino Shield for 15% off the regular price.
The thing about Rhino Shield, the heat gain has been reduced, and we save $70 a month. You don't hear that about any type of paint.
Here's Rhino Shield's Shane Smith.
This offer is limited, so call me at 888-RHINO-41. That's 888-RHINO-41.
Don't paint.
Don't vinyl.
Go Rhino.
Paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
20 ribeyes for $35. That's 20 ribeyes for $35 at 2 locations in Indianapolis going on now. 20 ribeyes for only $35 in the Hardee's parking lot near Walmart at West 86th Street and Michigan Road. Just look for the big truck. Also in the Hardee's lot at the corner of Franklin Road and Pendleton Pike. Also on the big truck is cases of T-bones, fillets, New York strips, burgers, and a whole lot more. Big truck sale. Marinated chicken breasts too. Don't wait. Big steak sale at 2 different locations. In the Hardee's parking lot near Walmart at West 86th Street and Michigan Road. Also in the Hardee's lot at the corner of Franklin Road and Pendleton Pike. 20 ribeyes for just $35. Don't wait. Everything must go. Last chance this week. Big truck sale. That's 20 ribeyes for $35. West 86th Street and Michigan Road, and the second location in the Hardee's parking lot at the corner of Franklin Road and Pendleton Pike. Get there before the truck is gone.
Are you ready to build your custom dream home? Joiner Homes is ready to make your dream come true. Over 18 years, Joiner Homes, based out of Greenfield, have built hundreds of homes in central Indiana, and the best place to start is joinerhomes.com. That's where you'll find pricing, photos of completed Joiner homes to inspire you, available home sites, and info on where you can visit their model homes, and a lot more. Be sure to check out Joiner Homes' 5-star Google reviews. Get started today at joinerhomes.com.
Your home is your sanctuary. Get the peace of mind you deserve with a free estimate on a Generac automatic standby generator for your home from Generator Supercenter, the nation's #1 Generac generator dealer. With expert installation and 24-hour monitoring, Generator Supercenter won't leave you in the dark. Financing is available. Take control of your power today with Generator Supercenter. Call 317-827-0808. Generator Supercenter of Indianapolis, 317-827-0808.
Our electric bills have increased as much as $50 each month. Governor Mike Braun is driving bills even higher. Instead of helping families, Governor Braun is doubling down on costly coal, gas, and nuclear. That means more pricey power plants that Hoosiers like us have to pay for. Utilities get richer, we pay more. Something has to give. Go to StopMikesHikes.com today to send Governor Braun a message. Hoosiers need affordable energy, not a blank check for greedy utilities. Paid for by Citizens Action Coalition.
Well, since my baby left me.
It's a tribute to the king of rock and roll. On October 17th and 18th, Frankie Marino and family come to the Hilbert Circle Theater to perform some of Elvis's most famous hits with conductor Enrico Lopez Yanez and the Indianapolis Symphony Orchestra.
Well, so lonely, I could die.
Don't wait. Get your tickets today. Tickets on sale now at IndianapolisSymphony.org or the ISO box office downtown.
I'm James with Price Point Comfort Heating and Cooling. We service all makes and models. For service, contact us at PricePointComfort.com.
Price Point Comfort is your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air dealer.
Okay, so we're in... What day is this on the shutdown?
Is it 9? 9 or 10?
Is it not? I think it is 9.
Okay.
And what's happening? Like, everything appears to be going just fine. What was this supposed mass disruption that the shutdown was gonna cause? Because I'm on the 9th day,
and your life hasn't changed,
and it just kind of is working, right?
Yeah.
Like as standard operating SOP, as they call it in the business. When does the pain start getting felt, and when does it start getting inflicted? Because I can't even get a clear answer on that.
Well, there's people that are furloughed right now, so...
But they're going to get paid.
Yeah, they'll get back pay when they go back.
Sure, so they're getting paid.
If they go back.
They're getting paid not to work. So let's push them aside.
Okay.
What's going on?
Well, it could disrupt my weekend plans.
Uh-oh.
Well, you know, Jim and I like to go visit historical sites.
Sure.
And we've got that passport book where we go get stamped. From national parks and things like right now the Lincoln Boyhood Home here in Indiana is shut down.
Oh, they're closed.
Yeah, so I can't go do that. The Dunes, Indiana Dunes National Park, that's closed.
Right.
I mean, I guess I could still go to the dunes. I just can't get the stamp.
But that's not like that's disrupting maybe like a weekend plan. It's not disrupting your daily existence.
My life, no.
And by the way,
because I could come up with something else.
IU and Notre Dame both play at 3:30. There's no way you're missing.
Yeah, what is going on with that?
That's happened several times now.
Yeah,
it
don't
feels
you feel like one of them should be the late game?
Well, I was saying this. This makes zero sense that Notre Dame is not at like noon.
Mm-hmm.
Why wouldn't they be at noon or make them at 7? Or IU's playing on the West Coast.
Right.
But my point on all
they should be the late game, actually.
That's right, yes.
Yeah.
My point on all this is that there's no way you guys are missing. That's right in the middle of your day. You're not going anywhere.
So you think that I'll just be planted in front of the TV
I
or
think you're fine.
out at a location that serves adult beverages?
Well, you've got your dignity on the line because we used your picks for the Degenerates Next Door sports betting.
Those were solid bets, Rob
I
Kendall.
feel like they're fine.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to win and somebody's going to lose.
Right.
So don't feel bad if they don't win. I'll make you feel bad, but don't feel bad. And by the way, we should point out, you and I are not going to be working together for quite a while.
Oh, yeah. We got to do a program note, don't we?
Yes. So I am off tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. You know what? It's vacation. It's disc jockey vacation time, apparently. And I'm the only one who didn't get the message because you, Hammer, and Nigel are both gone tomorrow.
Yeah, so I'm off tomorrow. Craig and you and Jim, your husband, are going to be filling in for Hammer and Nigel on the afternoon show.
Right.
So Craig Collins
will be doing our show.
Right. Craig fills in for Tony. You know him as the morning guy for Tony. He's going to be filling in for us tomorrow. Now, I will be back Monday. I'm taking off tomorrow because the daycare service is closed. So I got to run the daddy daycare service around. They frown on you just leaving your 2-year-old at home.
Yes, you're not supposed to do that.
I think she'd be fine.
No.
She's reached the point where she can say juice, and I get the juice, and she can drink it. She can say apple or pizza or whatever she wants, and I get it, and she eats it. I think I think she'd be fine for 3 or 4 hours.
You think so?
The state, however,
just give her
says
a chocolate bar and say, just stay right there.
the state considers that neglect. So rules, everybody's ruining the fun for everybody. So I'll be off tomorrow. Then Monday, I'm back, but you and Jim are still doing the afternoon show. Is that correct?
The Hammer and Nigel program.
Right.
Yes.
And same thing for Tuesday.
Correct. I'll be doing afternoons. Who are you going to be working with Monday?
I think it's
and Tuesday?
Ethan.
Okay.
I think that's who it is. And then you're gone
Thursday and Friday of next week.
So the only time in the next 10 days we will see each other.
Right, will be Wednesday. Next week.
Right,
Yeah.
very good. And
So
but I will be
need
here Thursday and
I
Friday.
need you to appreciate me for the rest of the show today.
I couldn't appreciate you anymore if my life depended on it. So that's the programming note, is that for the immediate future, tomorrow it will be Craig Collins in for us. Jim and Casey will be doing the afternoon show for Hammer and Nigel.
Yeah. I told the bosses, I said, I don't know about that. And they're like, you'll do fine. I said, Hammer and Nigel are beloved.
Well,
I don't want people to turn on the radio and go, what is this?
Yeah, but
that's big shoes to fill.
Yeah, I'd feel a little suspect if you were on your own, but Jim will be there with you, so it'll be fine.
I just said I need you to appreciate me.
I did the exact opposite
and
of that.
This is what you do.
Hey, speaking of Hammer, he's going to come in and join us next.
It's Kendall Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
Coming up on Tony Katz today, a peace deal between Israel and Hamas. Can it work? Can it last? That after the news at noon on 93 WIBC.
You probably have a dream retirement in mind, but do you know how to get there? The difference between dreaming and living your ideal retirement comes down to having the right plan. And that's where Howard Bailey Financial can help. At Howard Bailey Financial, we've created a free retirement toolkit to help you bridge the gap between where you are now and where you want to be. Text DREAM to 888-262-1104 to download your free retirement toolkit that includes a retirement checklist, Social Security decisions guide, estate planning guide, and more. We want your dream retirement to be your reality. And it starts by texting DREAM to 888-262-1104. Let us help you take the next step toward the retirement of your dreams. Howard Bailey Securities, LLC is an independent financial services firm and uses a variety of different investment strategies. Please see disclosures at howardbailey.com.
Football is back, and so are great hairlines. We Grow Hair Indy has helped former local professional football players get back in the game with full natural hair. You don't have to play pro ball to get pro-level results. Hey, it's Rob, and I knew I picked the right team when I needed a Hail Mary for my hair. I called We Grow Hair Indy. Whether you're tailgating, coaching, or watching from the couch, do it with confidence. Trade the sidelines for a hairline. Get back in the game at We Grow Hair Indy. Schedule your free evaluation today at WeGrowHairIndy.995 317-522-2995. Tell them Rob sent you.
Hey, guys, it's Rob. You know, one of the challenges for people with young kids when it comes to attending church is, what do I do with my kids? And that's why Life Church wants you to know they have a long history of amazing kids and youth ministries and makes them a priority. Life Church doesn't believe church is just childcare. It's time for all ages to hear the Word of God, sing songs, pray, and engage in fun activities that develop their faith and friendships. At Life Church, the whole family matters, which is why their saying is, parents, you can do this, and we will help. Learn more about the Next Gen ministry at Life Church by logging onto the web, lifechurchin.com.
It's JMV. The fall season continues at Miss M's Home and Garden. Visit Johnson County's premier garden center for a large selection of locally grown mums, pumpkins, gourds, and fall decor. Now is a great time to shop and save. Happening now at Miss M's. Save 50% on pottery and herbaceous perennials, along with 40% savings on in-stock patio furniture. Don't forget, they also have a selection of trees and shrubs up to 50% off. Miss M's Home and Garden, located on State Road 135 south of Whiteland Road in Bargersville.
Custom jewelry is not out of reach with PA Jewelers at the Farmhouse. At PA Jewelers, you can customize any piece of jewelry for that special someone. PA Jewelers at the Farmhouse in Brownsburg. Gold, diamonds, gemstones, and of course those watches from Flederman Von Riest, assembled right here in Indiana. Custom design jewelry with PA Jewelers at the Farmhouse. Custom jewelry made just for you. PA Jewelers, 3750 South Green Street in Brownsburg. 317-456-4010. PAJewelers.jewelry.
Life can be full of risks. One thing you shouldn't take a risk with ever is your family's health insurance. If you're self-employed or you now need affordable health insurance, you need to make this free call right now and see how the Health Insurance Helpline can help you get it. We specialize in helping the self-employed and people just like you that need affordable health insurance to get it. We have short and long-term health insurance plans, and some even cover dental, vision, and prescription drugs. Don't take a risk with your family's health insurance. It's not worth it. If you're self-employed or now need affordable health insurance, call right now and learn for free how to get it. Listen, affordable health insurance plans for everyone just like you are a free phone call away. So give us a shout right now.
800-659-7540. 800-659-7540. 800-659-7540. That's 800-659-7540.
Snapped a great photo? Witnessed something newsworthy?
Hey, there's some news.
You can text it right to the WIBC newsroom. Join the text club. Text WIBC to 317-239-9393.
Well, he's one half of the number one rated radio program, most listened to program in the entire state. Part of that spellbindingly intriguing interview with the governor yesterday, where he appeared to not know several very important things. I want to get his thoughts on it. Jason Hammer, hello.
Hello. Here's the thing about these interviews with the governor. No matter what I do, everybody's going to jump on social media. That was awful. That was horrible. You didn't ask about property tax. You didn't ask him about his high school SAT score. What a softball interview. Like, all right, fine. Here's the real reality. We have 15 minutes. There was a buttload of stuff we wanted to ask the governor about. And I feel like it's my job to see if we can get the governor on the record for these things. And then you guys can make up your own minds. Like, I don't know what more you wanted from me. Like, your fans, Rob, they want me to have the governor in here, walk over and punch him in the face.
Yeah.
That's probably not going to happen.
No.
Okay?
I would advise against that.
Probably not going to happen. But he's gracious enough to come in here, and we were doing rapid fire because there was a bunch of stuff.
Sure.
And before we get into, because I've been listening to you guys today, the stuff that he wasn't aware of, I thought the big takeaway from that conversation was going to be a definitive no on the National Guard coming to Indianapolis. He kind of put the squash on that yesterday, saying, look, our police officers can do the job. If we can bring the state police in to help, that's fine. The real problem is the prosecutor.
Do you think, though, if Trump wanted, for whatever reason, to make Indianapolis his next whatever, laser focus or whatever, and he said, we're doing this. You think Braun would still stand behind that and go, no, we're not doing that?
I thought it would be a situation where if Braun asked him, because, hey, we're a Republican state. State of Indiana's been good to you, President Trump. Right now, our homicide rate is higher than Chicago's once you factor in the population. So I think it would really look good on me as the governor. I could use a few wins right now if we were able to give, Joe Hogsett and Ryan Mears a big middle finger and clean up Indianapolis. And it never was a shot against the police, because I think some of my police friends were like, dude, we can do the job. No, there's no doubt that you can. But this whole process also involves bringing in federal prosecutors.
Yeah.
Because the guy that's the prosecutor right now, he's in no rush to put away bad guys. Examples being the dude that's been arrested 99 times.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get to what I about fell off the couch when, and at first I thought maybe he's trying to be funny. It was a weird thing to be funny about, but I've gone back and listened to it, and then we get to the second thing, you realize he wasn't kidding. He claimed he didn't know that the vice president was coming to Indianapolis on Friday.
Yeah, I think he knew there was going to be some sort of conversation, but I don't think he knew that J.D. Vance, the vice president, was going to be the dude, the captain, like bringing the brigade here.
Yeah.
He just thought maybe there'd be some goons in D.C. that Trump would send out here, maybe Stephen Miller, maybe somebody else to kind of wag the finger. But J.D. Vance carries a hammer, and he's coming back.
Yeah, I mean, it was like we were talking about on our show that it had come out he was coming, so that's like 6 hours. And so you got to wonder how nobody was like, hey, your buddy who you just worked in the Senate last year is coming. I mean, I find that that was the most interesting part of the whole interview to me.
Now, you know the inside baseball more than anybody. Is that a staff member's job to make sure that he knows that? Because the governor told us, listen, we've been traveling all day. I've been to Fort Wayne. I've been to all these other places. We've had event after event. I could get how maybe if he's in the car, wherever, he might not have heard that Vance will physically be there in person. But shouldn't a staff member know?
He's not in the car alone, and that person's got a phone with them.
Well, yeah, he's the governor. There are certain people in this state who have a direct line at any time to Mike Braun. And I also wonder, I don't think it just yesterday morning, they just woke up and decided they're going to do that. That's a massive operation, security, clearances.
I don't know. The Trump administration feels like they do that, Rob. They wake up and say, you know what? Screw it. We're sending it out there right now.
Yeah.
Right now.
Get on the plane, JD. Go.
I just can't fathom that they didn't tell him and that they didn't know, given the fact that there was again, we're not talking like Nikki Kelly reports this at, 3:45 and he's on your show at 4:15. This was in the morning.
Yeah, it came down around 10.
And she got it from sources.
Newscasters were talking about it.
Yeah.
Yes.
So then the other thing was, and this may be an even bigger story in terms of how it affects the people, he claimed he didn't know that BlackRock is buying AES.
And listen, I am not gotcha journalism guy. I'm never going to be somebody that books a guest to talk about one thing, then I try to surprise them and throw a bunch of crap at them. Yesterday, the goal of the conversation was, I'm going to go down a long list of stuff that I think our audience is interested in. The crime in Indy, the deleted tweet, the
National
IEDC audit, the National Guard. And we had kind of gone down the checklist, and we had a few minutes left, so I brought up what I thought would be something everybody would know about, that AES, the biggest Indy area provider of power and energy, about to be bought by BlackRock.
Well, especially because Governor Braun just recently pointed out how utility prices are going to be going up, and that's going to be a real focus for him.
And this whole conversation spawned from something similar. He had brought up the data centers, and he had mentioned AES. So that kind of put, no pun intended, the light bulb above my head.
But you shouldn't have to tell him you're going to ask him about that. He's the governor. That's not a gotcha question. You've made energy prices this newfound, like Scrooge on Christmas morning, I'll change your thing. You shouldn't have to tell him. And it's been a story
well, it's not
for a
that
week.
I tell him in advance what my questions are.
No, but I'm saying even the topics, like you should be able to pivot on that or get to it. And he should just be able to go, yeah, that's a major deal. Whatever his opinion is on it is what it is. But to be like, I didn't know that.
Well, especially since he's about to put 3 people on the IURC, right? They've got that nominating committee going.
Right.
It's top of mind.
And again, just for point of reference, I want to make sure this is perfectly clear because I don't want somebody thinking you have your questions approved. No. When I book through his staff, hey, come on, here are the things that I think my audience is interested in talking about.
That's normal.
And it's the things that I rattle off to you guys there.
Yeah.
It's not a specific question. It's not an angle. We've pushed back. Especially when the property tax thing happened, we basically told him it was a turd right to his face here.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I mean, that's common professionalism to say, here's the things we want to talk to you about. But what I'm saying is that's such a big issue that you shouldn't even have to mention that. He should be fully aware that that's going on, given that it's been a story for a week.
It affected the stock market. Like BlackRock, when just the chatter was going on that they were trying to buy AES, man, AES's stock was going up and down, and the market was high, and the market was low. This was a big deal, and I know you guys have talked about it on your show. We've mentioned it on ours. Where is the state of Indiana at with BlackRock?
Yeah.
And that's what I positioned to the governor yesterday, and we didn't get the response we were looking for because I don't think he knew much about it.
New podcast today.
Yes, NFL action. I've got action tonight, Thursday night football. Rob is Mr. Monday night. And the game of the week, this week, it's the Lions at the Chiefs. We'll both pick that game. Our professional handicappers, Kenny Britt of KB Sports, David Stefanoff of FollowItNeverFade.com. We make them give us free plays as well. So check it out.
Casey, you got any hot take on the Chiefs giving 2.5 to the Lions? The over-under's 52.5. That went way up.
Yeah, the Chiefs for sure.
So now if I take that on my show, you're going to scream at me again like you did on the college show.
Right, because your name is a part of this. We thought these were your picks, and you're openly admitting, I don't do any work. I asked my coworker. Well, I'm so happy I made you a co-host of this because you're not doing any work.
Look, my job, and it's the same thing I do here, is to show up. I show up and
That was not our deal. At no point did I bring you in and say, Rob, your job is to show up. Shut up.
Well, I sent you my picks already because I didn't want you being in a fit of rage, so I already made the picks ahead of time, so you wouldn't think that I was just picking Casey's brain for what we're going to do. But speaking of which, you also have the number, I think it's safe to say you have the number one listened to radio program in the state, given you're number one in the market and you're on Afternoon Drive, which is the most listened to time. I think it's that's safe to say, right? It's the most listened to radio program in the state.
We've been named number one in America before.
Yes. And in our hearts and everything else. And what's coming up on the number one afternoon show in the city of Indianapolis?
You.
Oh, that's right.
Rob Kendall, off the rails.
Probably why you're number
I love
one.
how you build up our show and then say, oh, by the way, what's coming up today? Oh, that's right, it's me. I'm on for Off the Rails. It's just me today. Nigel's out today. It's your boy flying solo. We're going to get drunk. We're going to take our pants off.
Nice.
We're going to fight all the battles in Indianapolis and win, baby. We're going to win.
I like that Cubs shirt, by the way. They got the win.
Let's go.
Thanks, Hammer. It is Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
Well, the Fed just sounded the alarm. The stock market is dangerously overvalued. And if your retirement savings are tied up in the market, this could be the smart time to protect and grow your savings outside of Wall Street. One option gives you a 20% upfront bonus. It's got a competitive return that's averaged 10% annually for the last 10 years.
So here's the simple math. If you invest $200,000, you get an upfront $40,000 bonus. That's $240,000. That $240,000 could earn 10% or $24,000 in the first 12 months. So, in the first year, that original $200,000 could grow to $264,000. Get all the information from Bill Demery, your retirement guy. Call 317-648-5120. That's 317-648-5120. 648-5120. Bill Demery, your retirement guy.
I will never forget the day we found out my brother needed a heart transplant. Sure, you hear about people needing an organ sometimes, but it doesn't feel real until you're the one waiting. I tell you, we're just thankful. God answered our prayers. But my brother wouldn't be alive today without that transplant. That's why I signed up to be an organ donor at the BMV, because I want to be the answer to someone else's prayers.
Sign up to be an organ donor. Say yes the next time you're at the BMV.
It all comes down to this, folks.
Yep, the entire season is on the line.
But my throat has officially thrown in the towel. Sounds like you need Vicks VapoCool drops. They're max strength and vaporize sore throat pain.
Whoa! These VapoCool drops hit fast.
Speaking of fast, did you just see that play?
Yeah, he vaporized that ball.
That fun should have come with a penalty.
Vaporize sore throat pain with Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed.
Tune in Saturdays 9 to 1 for the Home and Garden Show for advice and fun. Brought to you by Michaelis. Water, storms, fire, and wet basements. Life happens. Michaelis happens to help you through it.
Up to 50% off and 2.99% financing, plus receive an additional $550 off your project.
Because at B Window,
we mean business. We mean business.
Coming up in 2 minutes from the Technology Recycler Studios, you'll hear from the friend of a man who says he was injured by former NFL quarterback Mark Sanchez. That story and more after Fox News on 93 WIBC. WIBC HD1 Indianapolis, it's 11 o'clock.
Give President Trump the Nobel Peace Prize. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu posted that on X, writing, he deserves it for brokering a Gaza ceasefire agreement Israel and Hamas signed off on today in Egypt.
We are committed to Trump's plan.
That's Israel's Foreign Minister Gideon Sa'ar telling Fox they'll pull their troops back in Gaza.
In order to make the first phase happen.
Fox's Trey Yingst reports from Tel Aviv.
Celebrations erupted at Hostages Square in Tel Aviv overnight as Israelis processed the news that all of the remaining hostages held by Hamas will be released in the days ahead. Similar moments of joy unfolding inside Gaza as crowds of Palestinians cheered and chanted. After 2 years of war, an influx of aid and relief will make it to residents there. President Trump says 20 living hostages will be released on Monday.
Now we'll hear from the president in a few minutes leading a cabinet meeting at the White House. It's day 9 of the government shutdown. Still no funding, but there is blaming. Republicans versus Democrats in Congress. House Speaker Mike Johnson just called out something the Senate Minority Leader said.
He had the audacity to say, quote, every day of this shutdown gets better for us, his party. I don't even know how to comment on that. It's so stunning to me.
Minutes ago on the Senate floor, Chuck Schumer responded.
People will go bankrupt. People will get sick. People will die. All because the Speaker chose to keep the House on vacation.
Democrats demand health care provisions be added to any funding bill. A condemned murderer gets another lifeline in Texas. Robert Robertson was supposed to get a lethal injection next Thursday, but the state's top criminal court has put that on hold again. Last year, a group of Texas lawmakers from both parties intervened to block Robertson's execution, claiming he's innocent. Robertson was convicted in the death of his daughter, accused of shaking the 2-year-old so hard she died of head trauma. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
How he feels about the Mark Sanchez situation. Skies are sunny and it's 56 on Monument Circle with today's high being 66. I'm John Herrick. Here's what's trending at 11:02. Greg Kiesling is a longtime friend of Perry Toll. Toll's the man police say is claiming to have stabbed former NFL quarterback Mark Sanchez in downtown Indianapolis last weekend in self-defense. Kiesling says Toll is a kind man who once helped his wife and her sister after she was shot.
And how he rallied around his wife's sister and really sacrificed his own life to try to help take care of her, and she was injured terribly.
Court records say Toll first tried to use pepper spray before stabbing Sanchez multiple times during that confrontation. Toll's also filed a civil lawsuit against Sanchez and Fox Corp, while Sanchez also faces criminal charges. You might remember Brittany Gard, who went missing from her Putnam County home about a week ago. Her family got a call on Wednesday night that she's safe.
We had some alerts set up so that if Brittany's phone did become available, that it would, start squawking, and it did. And, we immediately started to look and track her and see where she was.
That's her brother-in-law, Kenny Bowen, speaking with News Nation from a hospital in Danville. The Indiana Department of Transportation announcing overnight lane and ramp closures scheduled on I-70 to repair barrier wall. Those have been postponed in Marion County because that barrier wall was hit. A new date for the repairs will be announced soon. The FBI has been putting in work in Indiana. Johnette Cruz reports.
The FBI's Indianapolis field office is reporting major results following a 3-month nationwide push to combat violent crime. Between late June and September, the FBI surged resources across Indiana along alongside state and local partners. Locally, the initiative led to 114 arrests of violent offenders. Authorities also seized 26 weapons and nearly 8 pounds of methamphetamine and 7 pounds of fentanyl. Nationally, the operation led to over 8,600 arrests and the identification or location of more than 1,000 child victims. Jeanette Cruz, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
You'll be able to hear Indiana Hoosier men's basketball games right here on WIBC all season long. As for the IU women's basketball team, their head coach Terry Morin saying this week, discussing what they need to be successful this season.
Your players have to have buy-in, but you have to have true chemistry. And you can have all the talent in the world, but your locker room is a place where that's where the good stuff happens, right?
She's coached IU to 6 straight tournament appearances. They open with Lipscomb November 4th. I'm John Herrick on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com. 11:04, Kendall and Casey coming back in 1 minute.
Fall in Indy, and if you hate the paint, do what your neighbor Don did. He called Rhino Shield.
Well, the home was built in 1948. Paint on the aluminum siding was peeling, and I couldn't find anyone who would repaint it until I called Rhino Shield.
Rhino Shield's better than paint, and the crew?
Painted all my aluminum siding, and I've got a front porch that runs the whole length of the house, and all the pillars and everything. And once they were gone, I couldn't even tell that they were there.
With Rhino Shield's 25-year transferable warranty, you'll never have to paint your home again. And right now, you can have Rhino Shield for 15% off the regular price.
Well, I've told a lot of people, do the Rhino Shield. It's really a great product, and if you don't want to paint the house, that would be the way to go.
Here's Rhino Shield's Shane Smith.
This offer is limited, so call me at 888-RHINO-41. That's 888-RHINO-41.
Don't paint.
Don't vinyl.
Go Rhino.
Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
This hour powered by Price Point Comfort Heating and Cooling, your independent American Standard Air dealer.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
We may have a winner for the worst hire in human history.
Do we?
Now, look, we don't do a lot of sports on this show because we have a fabulous sports station, 107.5, 93.5, The Fan, where you can get all your sports information. But we do sports when it sort of transcends into regular society. And this next topic, I am enthralled by it because to me it was so obvious this was going to happen. Yet I think it is sort of a prime example of the culture and society in which we live now, where money runs everything. The click, the headline, the eyeball is the path to money, and actual substance or performance isn't really all that important anymore. I mean, it is to some extent, but this seemed pretty obvious to me. So, Bill Belichick is the coach of North Carolina's football team. He's best known, obviously, as the coach of the Patriots for many, many years. Was closing in before he was finally, they parted ways. The Patriots and Belichick was closing in on the all-time wins record held by Don Shula, and sat out a year, couldn't get hired. He's known as a very standoffish, hard to work with person. Kind of in the waning years of the Patriots, it kind of became clear after Brady left, hey, maybe that was more Brady and less you, because Brady seemed to do just fine in Tampa Bay and you Stinksville once Brady left.
Yeah.
So no NFL team would hire him, and then he ends up taking this job at North Carolina. No college football coaching experience that I'm aware of, certainly in recent memory. And at the same time, he gets in this relationship with a woman who is literally, I think, almost 50 years younger than him.
Who graduated from North Carolina.
And sort of becomes his, business manager. But she's not just behind the scenes. She's on the field. She's around him all the time. You have to do, various requests through her. And so he takes this job at North Carolina. And everybody who knows anything about football is looking at this going, one, why would they hire him? He has no skill set that would translate to college. He's a horrible in terms of his person-to-person interaction, which is all the recruiting game basically is.
Right.
He has no experience whatsoever with the college recruiting system, the NIL, the ever-changing landscape, and he also has no success record of winning in college football. Why would they hire this guy? And then the counter side to it is, why would he take the job? Because there's nothing about this job.
He didn't need it.
He doesn't need money.
Right.
There's nothing about it saying we're setting you up for success here. You're going to be really good at this. And you realize everybody was sort of in the same soup together, which was something really bad is about to happen because all we care about are headlines, eyeballs, clicks, publicity, money, and it has thus far, Casey, failed in a spectacular fashion.
Well, it's interesting to note that his girlfriend could possibly relate to the players better than he can, and now his tenure there is in trouble. Reports are suggesting that UNC is already discussing firing him just 5 games into his first season. He was hired back in December of 24 to coach the Tar Heels, and now his team is 2-3, including some blowouts to TCU and Clemson. The program, it's being described as dysfunctional.
No kidding.
With a divided locker room.
No kidding.
Disorganized coaching staff.
No kidding.
And again, you mentioned those frequent headlines about his personal life, particularly with his 24-year-old girlfriend, Jordan Hudson.
Well, and this is and the other thing that was fascinating is that now apparently they pulled the plug on this. They were supposed to be doing some sort of documentary, I think it was for Hulu.
Yes.
That was going to chronicle this football team. And it's apparently going so poorly in there that the school, I think it's the school, has pulled the plug on it.
Yeah, UNC canceled the Hulu doc.
And so all of this is now the behind the scenes conversations, are they going to do a buyout? What does the landing look like for Belichick? But I wanted to touch on this, and we could branch off into this because, Casey, look, you have hired many radio personality over the years. You spent, I think most people know this, but you spent years in management running not just radio stations, plural, clusters of radio stations. You were in charge of lots of people. Part of being a boss is you got to know whether somebody has a chance for success at something.
Right.
If you're part of your job, the onus is on you as the hirer to, okay, what are the odds this person is going to succeed? Now, it doesn't always work out. Nobody has a crystal ball. But in the case of Bill Belichick, if he's got to go, I say the people who hired him have to go too, because we, the lay person, should not be able to look at this. And almost everybody was like, that is going to go very poorly. And you put all of this in, don't you have to hold the hirers accountable if you're going to indict the hiree?
Well, when you're looking at a $20 million buyout, I think so. When you hire somebody, you have to look at their skill set, right? What they bring to the table. But you also have to consider what motivates that person. Why do they want the job? And, there's all sorts of things. Is it the right cultural fit? Do they have the skill set? Are they going to get along with all their coworkers and everybody around them? Do we have the tools for them to be a success? But I think the motivation thing is a big one. What is that person motivated by? And many times it's motivated by money. They want the paycheck. They need a job. That's why they want it. But with someone like Bill Belichick, he didn't need the money. So what was his motivation to want to go there? Was it to prove he could be successful in the college football world? Was it because that's where his girlfriend graduated from? I don't know. Why did he want that job?
Well, and the girlfriend is super interesting to me because, again, we're talking about a woman who is almost 50 years younger than Belichick. And what you came up with a number, a mathematical formula on when somebody's too young to date. What didn't you tell me?
Did I?
I thought there was you divide something by something and add it, and then I can't remember. Anyway, point is, I'm the last person who's going to say indict some guy for dating a woman younger than him. My theory on, as long as everybody's eligible to be in a bar, everybody can all do the same stuff. Age is only a number. But it's one thing, to steal a line from Seinfeld, to say, hey, I'm 70 whatever and she's 24 and we all know what's going on here. We're all just having a good time, right?
He probably knows what's going on.
But there's a difference between I'm doing this and she's just kind of taking my money and I'm, a willful participant. He put her in charge by many accounts of his life.
Right.
That's a huge difference between I'm just dating some younger woman because she's a Broad Ripple 9.5.
Yep. She's been seen on the sidelines multiple times. She's been photographed speaking with the ACC commissioner. And is it her presence that is the source of all of the tension? Or is it the both of them together? Or is it just him? They said that he's been acting weird and distant. And some staff can't even reach him during a bye week. Like, he's just non-communicado.
So anyway, I thought this was super fascinating that it's sort of a microcosm of the society in which we live, where we are now driven, and this is true in sports, it seems true in business, it seems true in many regular people's existence, where headlines, clicks, publicity, that seems to matter most rather than productivity, likelihood of success, the ability to just do a job. By the way, did you ever have a really bad hire? Was there somebody you ever hired and you were like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I did that?
I had one employee once who argued with me that they were being treated differently than like the morning show. And I said to him, well, you are different. They've been a proven success. They're a known commodity. They've been here for a decade.
Uh-huh.
You just started last week, and you're still trying to find where the bathroom is.
Sure.
So, yeah, the pay scale's going to be different.
Yeah.
Everything about it is going to be different.
But you never had some big high-profile person where they put it on you, and you said, this is the person we need, and then it totally blew up in your face, and they said, Casey!
No, I vet people pretty good.
Well, you should have been
Except
vetting.
for you.
Well, you didn't hire me. That isn't your
That's
problem.
True. That's true.
You didn't hire me.
Okay, let's talk about one other thing that was a little wonky. Katie Porter, California's gubernatorial hopeful. She tried to end this interview abruptly after being asked about winning over Trump voters. Did you see this video?
I did. So this is fascinating. I would actually like to, because I think there's a societal commentary here.
You want to take a break?
Why don't we
and come
take
back
a break?
to it?
Yeah, we'll play this audio because she is an insufferable sea hag,
Mhm.
and I think it's a great look into who these politicians are, and I want to spend some time on this.
It is Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
Kendall and Casey.
This comes at a time where people are very concerned, and rightfully so, about skyrocketing utility rates. And BlackRock is in the money-making business. They're not in the better life for you business. Somebody better do something fast. Or if you think utility rates are bad now, get ready, pal.
No problem. You know how good the legislature is about passing bills for the residents.
Kendall and Casey. Weekdays 9 till noon on 93 WIBC and WIBC.com.
Stuck in a job that just isn't getting it done? Maybe it's time to go for IT. Whether you're just starting out, switching careers, or a military veteran ready for change, My Computer Career can help you launch a rewarding career in IT in months. No prior experience needed. Why spend years getting a traditional degree when your future in IT can start right now? Take the free career evaluation at mycomputercareer.edu today. Your most powerful upgrade? Your career. Go for it. Go for IT. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
You've got your whole life ahead of you, so choose a Medicare plan you can count on. If you're living with a chronic condition like diabetes, chronic heart failure, or a cardiovascular disorder, you might count on extra support with your health care too. That's why United Healthcare offers chronic special needs plans with extra benefits and a large provider network to choose from. Visit uhc.com/Medicare to find out if you qualify today. United Healthcare Medicare plans. It's Medicare coverage Indiana can count on. Provider network may vary in local market.
Central Indiana knows tough, but your water shouldn't be. Indiana ranks among the hardest water in the country, and your home is paying the price. Connecticut's non-electric technology means no timer, settings, or headaches. Just water that works, even when the power doesn't. And the twin tank design means clean, soft water 24/7. Connecticut water softeners are the solution, made in the U.S. Visit ConnecticutIndy.com and mention Made in the U.S. for an additional $250 off your purchase of a softener. Connecticut, American-made, Midwest tough.
Hear that?
That's Mike. He took ZzzQuil Pure Z's, so now he's sleeping soundly on a Sunday night. ZzzQuil Pure Z's are fast-acting melatonin gummies with a complementary botanical blend to help Mike get the sleep he needs to wake up refreshed and ready to conquer Monday.
Let's do this Monday.
ZzzQuil Pure Z's, just for sleep. Really great sleep. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Use as directed.
Okay, so you had teased this going to break. The Katie Porter, she is what is she? She's a rep. Mm-hmm. She's a California U.S. representative. She's a Democrat. Mm-hmm. Or she's a senator now. What is she? She's a rep, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's running. Yeah, she's running for governor of California. She is an insufferable sea hag, and she did some interview where she basically kind of like lost it on, was it the reporter that she lost it on?
Yeah, she was being interviewed by CBS's Julie Watts, and Julie Watts asked her a question, same question she had asked other candidates. What do you say to the 40% of California voters who voted for Trump? And Porter then called the question unnecessarily argumentative. And then she tried to remove her microphone and walk off.
Do we have the audio of this?
We do.
Okay, let's take a listen.
So, and the question is, what do you say to the 40% of voters who voted for Trump?
Oh, I'm happy to say that. It's the do you need them to win part that I don't understand. I'm happy to answer the question as you have it written, and I'll answer it.
And we've also asked the other candidates, do you think you need any of those 40% of California voters to win? And you're saying, no, you don't.
No, I'm saying I'm going to try to win every vote I can. And what I'm saying to you is that...
Well, to those voters. Okay, so you...
I don't want to keep doing this. I'm going to call it. Okay. Thank you.
You're not going to do the interview with us?
Nope, not like this. I'm not. Not with 7 follow-ups to every single question you ask.
Every other candidate has answered our follow-ups.
I don't care. I want to have a pleasant, positive conversation in which you ask me about every issue on this list. And if every question you're going to make up a follow-up question, then we're never going to get there.
Ms.
And
Porter,
we're just going to circle around.
I am an investigative
I have never
reporter.
had to do this before, ever.
You've never had to have a conversation with
to end an interview.
Okay, but every other candidate has done this.
What part of I'm me? I'm running for governor because I'm a leader. So I am going to make...
So you're not going to answer questions from reporters? Okay, why don't we go through? I will continue to ask follow-up questions because that's my job as a journalist, but I will go through and ask these, and if you don't want to answer, you don't want to answer. So nearly every legislative...
I don't want to have an unhappy experience with you, and I don't want this all on camera.
I don't want to have an unhappy experience with you either. I would love to continue to ask these questions so that we can show our viewers what every candidate feels about every one of these issues that they care about. And redistricting is a massive issue. We're going to do an entire story just on the responses to that question. And I've asked everybody the same follow-up questions.
She didn't want to do that on camera. She doesn't want to have an unhappy experience. What did she expect? They were going to brush each other's hair?
Well, there's so many things I wanted to get to with this. That's why I wanted to save it for its own segment, because now there's stuff starting to come out about her, that video clips, other accounts that she's just
her short temper,
rotten human being. But it really is an insight into a couple things about these politicians, because it's not like she's a Democrat, but there was a big expose years ago about, and I think it was Politico, on how horrendous it is to work for Todd Rokita. I think when he was still a congressman, they did this, and it was just devastating on what a just rotten person he is and how he treats his staff and et cetera. You can go back and find out again. I think it was Politico. But these politicians, that was a real insight into their mindset. One, they think, and this is why we rarely do guests on this program, because we do very well and we prove we don't need you. These politicians in their minds, they believe they're needed in order for media or television or radio programs to succeed. Well, how could you succeed without the politicians? Most politicians are really boring, and people turn the channel when they're on unless there's some, pressing issue. Like Braun was on yesterday with Hammer and Nigel. Whole bunch of pressing issues. He wasn't aware of many of them, but he should have been, right? And that was the takeaway.
Yeah, and as Hammer said, hey, I want to get him on record responding to this.
But a lot of times these politicians think, well, I'm a senator. I'm a representative. I'm the governor. No, they're really boring. That was her approach, right? Like, who are you to ask me questions? Who are you to try to make me take a position on something I don't want to take a position on? She didn't say it verbatim, but she was essentially saying, I'm done here. And the insinuation was, what are you going to do without me?
Right. Like, you need me more than I need you. No, it actually goes the other way around. And she claimed that she had never had to do that before, implying that she's never had to answer tough questions. And her campaign went on to say that, the interview went on and lasted an extra 20 minutes after that.
The other part of this, which is fascinating, is, and you'll see this with politicians, they do not want to be held to account on things that they can't BS their way through. And in that case, she looks at it as, well, if I admit something positive about a Trump voter, my base is so extreme, they might use that against me. The base of the Democrat Party, if she were to say, because the obvious answer to that would be, look, I'm going to try to win every vote I can. I'm going to run on a list of priorities, and I'm going to run on a list of principles. And I look forward to selling that to the people of this state and how my administration will make their lives better. I mean, I'm just winging this, right? A canned response should be even better. And I'm going to make their lives better. And I hope that I can win every single person, regardless of whether they voted for Donald Trump or not. But in her mind, first of all, she is a radical leftist. So she's telling you how she views those people. But she also knows that her base, the base of voters in a primary in California, is so left in most cases. Now, they do that. What I think they call it a jungle primary in California, where it's not like Republicans have a primary and Democrats have a primary. Everybody runs, and then the top two people then run against each other in the fall. Now, oftentimes it does end up being a Republican versus Democrat, but you could theoretically have two Democrats or a Democrat and an independent or whatever. But she knows the majority of people voting are going to be so left that she can't answer that question in a way that she can spin it. So she's just going to indict the reporter who's asking her.
Right. And if she can't answer these basic questions from a reporter, being on the opposite political side of the president, I mean, how is she expected to stand up for what she wants when she goes to D.C. or, has to deal with larger issues?
Well, you just hit the nail on the head. And that's the third part of this thing that I wanted to talk about, which is that they show you how weak they actually are. Why did Braun stop talking to me? You used to talk to Braun and his people all the time during property tax, during the legislative session, because they know it's done, right? They expose themselves, and instead of owning it and saying, hey, Rob, we failed. Hey, Rob, we let you down. Hey, Rob, we failed your audience, right? And figure out how we can work together. They just cut it off. Now, they have those meetings, right? They're still having these meetings at the governor's mansion with a lot of the same people they were talking to before, but we don't get invited anymore. Why? Because they can't manipulate us. They can't use us. They know we see through it. They know we don't need them, that we don't view it as some sort of, oh, I'm so lucky I got invited to the place that I have to pay for. And so she showed so much in this interview, not just of who she is, but you can extrapolate this out to so many of these politicians and how they view any sense of accountability and how they view you as a taxpayer.
She's running to replace Gavin Newsom, and she was the front runner with a 7-point lead. I wonder what it is now, if this will affect her.
Well, that's what's interesting is she got, like, so often these people behave just like total imbeciles, and then they'll spin it as, I was fighting for so-and-so, right? Like, a great example of this, we'll mention him again, Todd Rokita. He goes on Fox News and behaves totally inappropriate for the Attorney General, which is why he's got all these issues in front of the Disciplinary Commission. Not because he had a First Amendment or an opinion or whatever. There are rules and regulations as an attorney, and he has a very high bar as Attorney General. He did not adhere to that, right? That's why he signed that agreement, which then he went back on, and that's why he's back in front of the commission again. But the point is, he tries to spin this as, oh, they're coming after my First Amendment rights. They're coming after me because I'm pro-life. No, moron. They're coming after you because there are rules of conduct for your profession, and you did not adhere to those rules of your profession. But I don't know how she's going to spin that, because that reporter wasn't grilling her on any hot button topic that she can say,
Katie Porter just didn't like the follow-up questions.
She just did it's an unhinged, entitled, elitist, rotten human being who exposed exactly what she is.
You're listening to Kendall and Casey. It is 93 WIBC.
Football is back, and so are great hairlines. We Grow Hair Indy has helped former local professional football players get back in the game with full natural hair. You don't have to play pro ball to get pro-level results. Hey, it's Rob, and I knew I picked the right team when I needed a Hail Mary for my hair. I called We Grow Hair Indy. Whether you're tailgating, coaching, or watching from the couch, do it with confidence. Trade the sidelines for a hairline. Get back in the game at We Grow Hair Indy. Schedule your free evaluation today at WeGrowHairIndy.com. That's WeGrowHairIndy.com or call 317-522-2995. That's 317-522-2995. Enjoy being out and about this fall. Enjoy watching the games in person with your friends with confidence you haven't had in years. And you can do it with a trip to We Grow Hair Indy. 317-522-2995. 317-522-2995. Tell them Rob sent you.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
What he thinks about the whole Mark Sanchez ordeal. I'm John Herrick. Here's what's trending at 11:30. Greg Kiesling says Perry Toll is a talented musician and devout Christian who has faced tragedy with compassion. Toll says he stabbed former NFL quarterback Mark Sanchez in self-defense last weekend in Indianapolis.
I got to assume, I don't know, I can only guess what he was feeling, but it had to be fear, I would assume. But I know him, he's a good man, and he would never intentionally harm anybody. I'm nearly positive he's never been in a fight in his entire life.
Kiesling says Toll is now at home recovering after the fight with Sanchez. Toll has also filed a lawsuit against Sanchez and his employer, Fox Corporation. Today is day 9 of the government shutdown, and a federal court hearing in Florida for the man accused of starting the Palisades fire in California has been postponed. On the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
20 ribeyes for $35. That's 20 ribeyes for $35 at 2 locations in Indianapolis going on now. 20 ribeyes for only $35 in the Hardee's parking lot near Walmart at West 86th Street and Michigan Road. Just look for the big truck. Also in the Hardee's lot at the corner of Franklin Road and Pendleton Pike. Also on the big truck is cases of T-bones, fillets, New York strips, burgers, and a whole lot more. Big truck sale. Marinated chicken breasts too. Don't wait. Big steak sale at 2 different locations. In the Hardee's parking lot near Walmart at West 86th Street and Michigan Road. Also in the Hardee's lot at the corner of Franklin Road and Pendleton Pike. 20 ribeyes for just $35. Don't wait. Everything must go. Last chance this week. Big truck sale. That's 20 ribeyes for $35. West 86th Street and Michigan Road, and the second location in the Hardee's parking lot at the corner of Franklin Road and Pendleton Pike. Get there before the truck is gone.
Our electric bills have increased as much as $50 each month. Governor Mike Braun is driving bills even higher. Instead of helping families, Governor Braun is doubling down on costly coal, gas, and nuclear. That means more pricey power plants that Hoosiers like us have to pay for. Utilities get richer, we pay more. Something has to give. Go to StopMikesHikes.com today to send Governor Braun a message. Hoosiers need affordable energy, not a blank check for greedy utilities. Paid for by Citizens Action Coalition.
At Community Health Network MD Anderson Cancer Center, you'll find a team of experts on your side, all working closely to give you the guidance and support you need.
Everyone knew what every other doctor was doing. I didn't have to go to 3 different meetings. I didn't have to talk to them individually. You knew right there in the room. They came up with a plan together.
Learn more about Community MD Anderson at ecommunity.com/cancer.
Judy loves her fall in Indy, but she doesn't like the paint, so she called Rhino Shield.
The house that Rhino Shield did for my husband and I, after having the house painted with kind of usual house paint, I was seeing cracks appearing about every 3 years and just wasn't very satisfied with that.
Rhino Shield's a ceramic coating specifically formulated for our unique climate.
I can't speak highly enough about the Rhino Shield crew. They also were great at working with me to get the exact right color because I was very particular.
Indy, you too can have the guaranteed protection of Rhino Shield right now for 15% off the regular price.
I would not hesitate to call Rhino Shield, and I am just thrilled to recommend Rhino Shield to my friends and neighbors and family.
Here's Rhino Shield's Shane Smith.
This offer is limited, so call me at 888-RHINO-41. That's 888-RHINO-41.
Don't paint.
Don't vinyl.
Go Rhino.
Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Who needs a Vegas trip to win big? McCordsville's got the jackpot right here. Financial Center, your newest credit union, is throwing a sidewalk series from September 30th through October 17th, every Tuesday through Friday from 11 to 2. Play games, win prizes, and enter a giveaway for $1,000 cash. So skip the long flight and just join Financial Center on the sidewalk. Find out more and explore exclusive offers at fcfcu.com/McCordsville. Federally insured by NCUA. Giveaway terms and conditions apply.
I'm Tyler at Price Point Comfort Heating and Cooling. We do maintenance on all makes and models. It's never too late to schedule your maintenance tune-up at PricePointComfort.com.
Price Point Comfort is your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air dealer.
Join us every Friday right around 5:50 for Beer Sample Friday.
Brought to you by Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus, home of free delivery within 75 miles of their store.
Jolene, 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 Jolene.
So what, everybody thought Dolly Parton was going to die?
Well, her sister put out a message saying that she needed prayers because she was having some medical procedures done. And Dolly Parton posted...
Whoa, time. See, this is the problem.
What?
Like, was she having like, hey, I got an ingrown toenail? I mean, we can still pray for that.
Yeah. No, they didn't say what the medical procedures were.
So you see this and you think, she's having a medical procedure. She needs prayers. What did she have? Some horrible bowel disease? Or like, what is going on here? And then people started, of course, at social media, and everybody starts jumping the gun. And these are the waning days of Dolly Parton to the point where she had to come put a video out.
Right. Well, she did. She had postponed her Las Vegas residency to focus on recovery. But Dolly Parton did put out a message, and she said, I ain't dead yet.
Hey, Natalie, bring your camera over here. I want to say something. Well, today's October the 8th, and obviously I'm here doing some commercials for the Grand Ole Opry, which is why I'm dressed kind of like a country western girl. But before I got started, I wanted to say, I know lately everybody thinks that I am sicker than I am. Do I look sick to you? I'm working hard here. Anyway, I wanted to put everybody's mind at ease, those of you that seem to be real concerned, which I appreciate. And I appreciate your prayers because I'm a person of faith. I can always use the prayers for anything and everything. But I want you to know that I'm okay. I've got some problems, as I mentioned, back when my husband Carl was very sick. That was for a long time, and then when he passed, I didn't take care of myself, so I let a lot of things go that I should have been taken care of. So anyway, when I got around to it, the doctor said, we need to take care of this, we need to take care of that. Nothing major, but I did have to cancel some things so I could be closer to home, closer to Vanderbilt, where I'm kind of having a few treatments here and there. But I wanted you to know that I'm not dying.
She said she was going in for her 100,000-mile checkup.
Okay, so...
She did say it wasn't... She said it wasn't related to plastic surgery.
Now, she is 79 years old.
Her and I share a birthday.
Oh, you have the same birthday?
Yeah.
Well, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. So she will be 80 next January. So we're not dealing with the spring chicken here anymore.
No.
And she does sound... much like if you don't hear her every day. I mean, but I'm sure anybody's that way. If you go I just got to admit, I have not heard Dolly Parton's voice in probably a year or more. Why would I? So she does sound like she's getting a little long in the tooth. But again, this is like the world in which we live where some person, and I'm sure there was nothing malicious it was the sister, right?
Right.
Who put this out, but you're not specific, and then everybody rushes to conclusion, and hopefully she'll be fine. She's a national treasure, and it sounds like she's doing better.
Yeah, just some routine stuff. She said she didn't take care of herself when she was taking care of her husband, so now she's got to do that. But when you cancel a residency in Las Vegas and then your sister puts out pray for Dolly, yeah, people are going to jump to conclusions because, as you mentioned, she is almost 80. However, I don't know if you saw the video that we just played. she has like no wrinkles anywhere.
Well, she's had some work. There's no like, yeah, she's like, it is not, okay. It is not natural for people to be in their 60s and 70s and not have wrinkles. Like, I'm sorry, you look ridiculous. And so many of these celebrities do this now. And that's just part of the aging process, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's things you can do to maybe not be as wrinkly or whatever. But the idea that you're just like, it doesn't, unless you're me who doesn't age.
Or ever gain weight. Then, okay, so she's continuing on. She launched a new musical called Dolly Parton's Threads, My Songs in Symphony, and she's continuing to perform, planning to open a hotel in downtown Nashville. She's, like she said, she's doing something for the Grand Ole Opry, so she is continuing on. But that just goes to show you where people get their news and where people have to put out their messages. There was some new research that came out. Social media playing a huge role in news consumption. 53% of adults say that they get their news from social media.
Okay, my question on this would be, when we say I get my news from social media, do you mean like, hey, there was a Fox News article linked on social media, or my neighbor Harold was on social media? That would be a question for me. I'm going to guess that it also includes my neighbor Harold,
right?
On social media.
That's an interesting point, because are they talking just about, that's just the distribution, if it's an article that was on Facebook or X?
Are we including, like, this was on the Townie Chatter board? Like, so what, what exactly does that entail? That would probably be the first question I would have about this. But the reality is, people are now more and more going away from traditional media sources. And there are traditional medias that, like us, that continue to do very well. But a large part of that is we give people things they can't get anywhere else. And most legacy media type institutions have not had the sustained success WIBC, this show, et cetera, has had. It's just easy to go somewhere else. It's just easy when it's all on your phone. You and I were having this conversation earlier today, in fact, about the changing landscape of media. And you remember some program director or some radio consultant 25 years ago telling you about the iPod, the MP3 player.
It was a consultant, and the year was 2000, and he had just come back from a trip over in Europe, and he was saying how you guys don't even know what's coming, because over in Europe, those people are walking around with 20,000 songs in their hip, and in their hip pocket, and that was as MP3 was coming out. And he said, this is all going to be on your phone, just wait and see. And there were people in the room who were like, nah, that's not going to happen. And the industry failed to adjust to that, because it did happen.
Yeah, and look, the less you make people work, the more they're going to gravitate to that thing. And the reality is, if there's something in your pocket, something, and you can just pull it out at any given time and instantly search, people are going to gravitate to that. And unless you give them a compelling reason to go somewhere else, I mean, the internet is a crazy thing. My dad and I were having a conversation yesterday, and we were talking about an obscure person. Not to say the person's life didn't matter or whatever, but we were talking about an obscure person, like, nobody would know this person, they weren't famous, not like even they had a moment in the sun. It was just like an obscure person. And we were having a debate about this person.
And you just looked it up.
And it was able to look it up.
Right.
And of course I was right.
Of course.
That I was saying.
Sure.
But it's like, that's wild that we have reached that point in our society where you can reach into your pocket, let me check, beep, 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 beep. Oh yeah, that's what happened. That's crazy.
Yeah. You know what the dude does a lot? We'll be watching a show, whether it's a series or something historical, and as it is on the television, he'll be on his phone looking up, all of the information about the person to see if Hollywood exaggerated or how truthful the script actually is.
Right, and you've seen, like I said, with legacy media in this city, like the paper of record is the Star, the radio station of record is WIBC, and you have seen how the Star has obviously shifted, not exclusively, but getting there more and more by the day to an online footprint. The sort of and style of reporting they do has had to change. And you've seen changes here with how the radio business works. I mean, look, one of the unique things about a unique thing about WIBC is every one of our shows are different. Like what Tony does is markedly different from what we do. What we do is markedly different from what Hammer and Nigel does. And an interesting thing is there is not oftentimes, but a lot of times, I guess that's the same word, more frequently than not, conflict of opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Like we view redistricting much different
than Tony does.
Yep. And we view other things different than Hammer and Nigel do. And so you don't just get the same opinion throughout the course of the day. And so that is something you can't get anywhere, so people still come here. But other than that, radio as a collective, it's struggled.
I was shocked to see this statistic. The most popular platform for news, what do you think it is, of social media?
I would say Twitter.
That's where conservatives get their news the most. But Facebook. It goes Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and then X. Yeah.
Twitter's last.
Twitter's last.
Wow.
Overall. It is Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
Jolene, 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 Jolene. Please don't take him even though you can.
Hammer and Nigel show back at it this afternoon. Rob Kendall will join us. He's going to rip off his shirt, put on war paint, and completely go off the rails. 93 WIBC.
You know exactly why you need to remodel that kitchen of yours. The space, it's outdated. You can't move around like you used to. It doesn't work like it needs to. You want to entertain and you want to improve your quality of life. This can happen, just not with the kitchen you have. You need to call Booher Remodeling. BOOHER. BooherRemodeling.com. They can take that old kitchen that's deteriorating and broken down and turn it into something that works for you and your family. Their 5-step design process from start to finish, the consultation, the preliminary design, the design development, getting all the documents together, and then getting it done. The best materials, the most skilled craftsmen in Central Indiana. Booher Remodeling will guide you through the entire process, starting with a free initial consultation, and they stand behind their work with a 2-year workmanship guarantee. Create that new kitchen. Design experts can use an existing layout or begin completely from scratch. Talk to Booher Remodeling today. BOOHER. BooherRemodeling.com. That's BooherRemodeling.com.
Change is always happening. It's part of life. And when it comes to music, change is all around us. Songs are rewritten, classics are remixed, bands and artists come and go. Even our taste in music changes. Here at Xfinity, we know there's still good in keeping some things the same. That's why we want to do our part with a 5-year price guarantee on our internet. It means no matter what changes, you get 5 years of the most reliable Wi-Fi with our best equipment included for a price that stays exactly the same. Surprised? Life is full of them. One internet price, 5 years, guaranteed. Learn more at xfinity.com/deals. Restrictions apply. New residential customers only. Taxes and fees extra and subject to change. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August 2024.
Well, since my baby left me.
It's a tribute to the king of rock and roll. On October 17th and 18th, Frankie Marino and family come to the Hilbert Circle Theater to perform some of Elvis's most famous hits with conductor Enrico Lopez Yanez and the Indianapolis Symphony Orchestra.
Well, it's so lonely I could die.
Don't wait. Get your tickets today.
My hand.
Tickets on sale now at IndianapolisSymphony.org or the ISO box office downtown. Who needs a Vegas trip to win big? McCordsville's got the jackpot right here. Financial Center, your newest credit union, is throwing a sidewalk series from September 30th through October 17th, every Tuesday through Friday from 11 to 2. Play games, win prizes, and enter a giveaway for $1,000 cash. So skip the long flight and just join Financial Center on the sidewalk. Find out more and explore exclusive offers at fcfcu.com/McCordsville. Federally insured by NCUA. Giveaway terms and conditions apply.
You ready to build your custom dream home? Check out Joyner Homes based out of Greenfield. See one of their model homes in person anytime. It is a great way for you to experience the customization and quality of a Joyner Homes custom built home. Plus, you can meet with a new home specialist to learn about their building process. Available lots if you don't already have one. Find out about floor plans and where they build. Model homes are open 7 days a week from noon to 5 and walk-ins are welcome. Find out more at joynerhomes.com.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Severe from Vicks.
Sinex Severe Nasal Spray.
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Severe instantly relieves nasal congestion and works 6 times faster than nasal decongestant tablets. The 12 hours of relief allow you to get back to the moments that matter without congestion.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it. Try Sinex Severe from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Forget digging through clutter to find what matters. The WIBC Daily Newsletter puts the biggest local stories and exclusive show moments in your inbox and lets you skip the scroll. Sign up by clicking Connect at WIBC.com.
You know it's you, babe. Whenever I get weary and I'm had enough.
Casey, the AI stuff is totally out of control as predicted.
It is, and I don't know if you've seen a lot of the AI videos circulating right now, but you've got a bunch with Bob Ross where he's doing different paintings, and you have JFK and MLK. There's one of JFK where he's a disc jockey at a club.
Sure.
And Stephen Hawking doing all sorts of tricks in his wheelchair. And now the daughter of Robin Williams has come out, and she on Instagram Monday said, please stop sending me AI videos of my dad.
Oh, okay. So, of course, Robin Williams, what has this been 10 years ago now? I don't know exactly when it was. It's been quite a while, though. Most people are aware, he committed suicide, famous comedian, actor, and then, documentaries, et cetera, have come out that he had serious mental health issues, struggled with a variety of things over many, many years. And I'm sure even though she's an adult now, and I believe she was even an adult when he had passed away, that
she's 36 now.
Yeah, right. So because there was a very good documentary done about kind of the last days of Robin Williams and the mental health struggles but I'm sure, even as an adult, being able to sort of process certainly better than you would as a child, losing a parent in that manner is just a level of grief beyond description. And then your parent is super famous, so you're constantly reminded of them. And now people are doing things and sending you things that aren't even them.
Yeah, she said that you're not making art, you're making disgusting, overprocessed hot dogs out of the lives of human beings, out of the history of their art and music, then shoving them down someone else's throat, hoping you'll get a little thumbs up or a like.
Well,
and it's gross.
So you hit on a good point, which is for all this huffing and puffing about, well, AI is going to change the future of medicine and all these, and it very well may. It may extend lives, and that's wonderful. But 95% of the stuff AI appears to currently be being used for, at least in the visual of the average member of the American public, is garbage. It in no way betters humanity. It in no way makes human life better or more sustainable. Nothing. It's just people screwing around.
Right.
And it's not in any way contributing to the betterment of humanity. No offense to Hammer and Nigel. Their AIs are very funny, but it's not like it's life-altering stuff.
Right. They're just having some fun. Well, she brings up a good point. She said with all of this AI mimicking real voices and likeness, you're doing that without the person's consent. And especially if the person is no longer with us, they clearly can't consent to that.
And I saw something with like Mr. Rogers in a wrestling ring the other day. And I was like, what? What does this have to do with anything. Like, how is this in any way contributing? Is this what our data centers are being used for?
Right, exactly. Is this why my utility bill is going up? So somebody can put deceased famous person in awkward situation or in a place they would never have been. I mean, like the one with JFK, I saw, he said, ask not what your country can do for you, but ask what you can do to shake that thing. And he's, being a disc jockey at a club.
And we've talked about this for several years now, that it's getting better. It's much better than it was a couple of years ago. And I don't know if you're this way now, but every video I see, I now have to wait because there's a part of me in my head that I say, is that AI? Has that been doctored? Has that been messed with?
Oh, sure. There's a lot now, especially when I go through and do the template. I got to make sure, like, there's multiple sources using that same quote to make sure it's legit.
Where I just thought about it the other day was when the video came out on Mark Sanchez of him stumbling around downtown after the altercation. And I thought, well, that's an incredible video. But then I said, well, I'm not sharing this yet because
you don't know.
Is it fake?
Right.
Is it AI?
And you don't want to be the person who's putting it out there as legitimate news.
Absolutely.
And somebody comes back and says, hey, dork, that's fake.
Yeah. I'm not going to give somebody a freebie to say, hey, moron, that wasn't real.
Right. Well, Zelda Williams, that is Robin Williams' daughter, she said that all of this AI content is just horrible TikTok slop.
Isn't it fascinating, too, about how many people find some sort of worth in making that their existence?
What do you mean, creating
Yes, just making these videos.
Well, they're getting paid to do it because they're getting
you're right.
views and likes and hits off of it.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct.
So
what did these
they're
people,
benefiting off of somebody else's sorrow in many cases.
What did these sort of people do before there was the internet? I mean, I get that many of these people weren't even alive, but what did these people do for these types of people? How did they earn livings before the internet, or how did they earn livings before Twitter, Instagram, TikTok? Where did they go? What did these sorts of people do to sustain themselves?
Well, they probably had a job that they did not like. Buried themselves in a basement behind a computer.
Yes. So anyway, well, that's an uplifting story to end the show today, Casey.
Okay.
Thank you for that.
Well, you're the real deal, Rob Kendall. Nothing AI about you. Thank you. Thank you, Kevin. And thank you for listening today. This has been Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Greetings from R&R Agency, your Indiana health insurance pros, and a sincere thank you to our loyal customers for helping us to another record year. We recently saved a 62-year-old retiring couple over $800 monthly when compared to their COBRA offerings. We recently saved a family of 4 over $400 monthly when compared to their $7,500 deductible program on the ACA, and that's still Obamacare. We recently saved a small 4-man manufacturing company over $1,000 monthly and gave them better coverage. We feature coverages guaranteed to age 65, low out-of-pocket expenses, the largest networks in the country, and you can sign up anytime. If you are retiring early, self-employed, or need coverage for your small group, call us at 317-563-0868 or go to rragency.org. If you don't call us, we can't help you. What do you got to lose? Call us 317-563-0868 or go to rragency.org. As always, God bless America, common sense government, and peace through strict.
Judy loves her fall in Indy, but she doesn't like the paint, so she